Sirahan mo yan, ingay mo.
RRQ Akira Takashi. Nobody expected Brazil to be this good. Takashi was just one of the standouts of the entire team with his quick and out-of-this-world plays all over the land of Dawn. His opponents will not see his moves. The Astro Thunder Takashi will show the world, especially the defending champions, what he's got. Blacklist International, Edward, Agent Zero is here to show the world his consistency. And there are many ways Edward can control the map, especially as a solo laner to distract their opponents to answer him in lane. This will be their first defense in the knockouts as the defending champions of M4.
After a thrilling first opening match with RRQ as well as Zodak, have to wait and witness the Brazilian rep taking on the defending champions in Blacklist. Back at the analyst stand, Scotty, accompanied by Leo and LaFell, double L's. Well, how are y'all feeling?
I'm excited to be here, and again, I'm still reeling from that RRQ Hoshi versus Kodak matchup, but here today we're about to witness Brazil's, well, now 33-1 champion for 2 seasons straight, going up against arguably one of the most dominant teams in MLBB Pro Esports, Blacklist International. LaFell?
Personally, for me, I'm just happy having you here, Leo. Leo, you look so good. You look so dashing. I gotta say, you and Mara are probably my favorite Filipinos.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
I've been watching your work from earlier today, and would you say the same for Wolf?
Would you not say that name? Don't start.
We'll move on.
Thankfully, Wolf isn't here, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, I mean, Leo, you look good. You look like the Hulk. But guys, we are going to talk about the details here in Blacklist and as well as Akira. Perhaps any initial thoughts?
I think a lot has been said, and we witnessed the rise of RRQ Akira in the group stage. But Blacks International, a big question mark. I think the fact that they've had a rocky performance for the past maybe 2 months, that's something that we'll have to really keep our eyes on.
Yeah, right now we're looking at a hot topic. History repeats itself in the form of fate. And I actually just want to add a little bit more onto the topic because I had a privilege of talking to some of the coaches on looking at both these teams. For Blacklist International, they're actually very strong, but they're probably at their weakest when the opponent gets to decide when to fight. So that's why picks like the Natalia, the Franco could really hurt them. And for RQ Hira, they look amazing. They look like one of the strongest RQ so far, but we got to put into consideration group stages. It was a best of one. And Blacklist International, they're kind of one of those teams that get better with more matches.
Exactly. This is going to be a best of 5, ladies and gentlemen, to just remind you. But very good point. Blacklist, they like long series, they like long matches, they like tough challenge, and it seems like if you consider the group stage, RQ Akira, they're very strong. But in a bit, we are going to see and witness. Leo, you can't wait. It seems like your eyes is ready to see the assets. Let's go. It's going to be the talent prediction. It is going to be a majority for Blacklist International. We got Zuzu only rooting for Akira.
Despite how difficult it has been for Blacklist in the past couple of months, again, they lost twice in a row to Falcon in the group stage. And, you know, RQ Akira having a difficult go in their last match. They broke their streak. I think this is still what the metagame looks like.
Personally, for me, I trust in the process, right? Because it really doesn't matter when you lose as long as you get back up. However, again, looking at the talent prediction, it's mostly going for Blacklist. And RQ Akira, Holy as well as Trex, actually rooting for RQ Akira. I did not thought it would be this kind of one-sided. I thought more people would be rooting for RQ Akira based on their performance in the group stages.
But let's take a look at the chart of team play head-to-head between Takashi and Edward. But if you take a look at the graphs, it's quite even.
It's very similar. Astro Thunder Takash versus Agent Zero here. It seems like Takash has grown so much from M3 that he's had his eyes on Edward, and this is not a coincidence, right? You look at the best XP laners in the world, and Edward has to come up in that discussion.
Yeah, both Takashi as well as Edward, I would say they're playmakers, right? If you look at a fight and it looks like it's not really going to work out, somehow these two players will rough it out and get some kind of victory. Takashi, like one of the best Benedettas that I've seen so far, and Edward, he's the best at everything, every single time that I see him getting, like, especially like a very rough hero, or really like a bruiser type that wants to go to the back lines.
It just seems like in this current meta, right, XP laners are expected to somehow make a play. This 1v3s, these 1v2s, and we saw a lot of good, strong XP laners and just showing that they can defend the lane and find good place flanking, opening, not just the roamers who is going to open and initiate fights. It's actually expected sometimes for the XP laners. And again, players like Takashi and as well as Edward, it's just, this meta is just made for them.
Yeah, if you have such a solid roamer like Oh My Venus and Louise taking the helm right in mid, then you have to look for that X factor, and I'm looking at the XP lane for that.
And there's, with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to see Akira and as well as Blacklist. So, casters, are you guys ready? Because it seems like Naisu, Trax, and as well as Eterna is ready. Let's throw it up to you. Let's go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we are ready. We are back for the final match of tonight. Blacklist versus RQ Akira. My name's Trex. This is Naisu, and this is Eterna. Very hyped to be casting this match, but just make sure, never go out of style when you wear and game with Gank, a lifestyle fashion brand for the modern gamer, and is the M4 World Champion official merchandise partner. Grab the M4 merchandise at www.gank.asia today. Tell us about that M4 pass, Nice.
There's also an M4 pass available for you guys. It's available now. Complete all tasks, and you'll reach level 75 at ease and for free. Of course, log in now. Exclusive rewards like the Beatrix Light Chaser, the Beatrix Stellar Brilliance, and the M4 Beatrix figurine, which is on our desk, by the way. Check it out. Don't forget the hashtags as well. Hashtag Mobile Legends Bang Bang, hashtag MLBBM4, and hashtag Dare to Be Great.
Now, Eterna, have you gotten the M4 pass yet?
I have, and I'm super high in that level. Just a little bit more to get the figurine that's in front of us right now. Dibs.
No.
Dibs, no,
Me and Naisu are already going to fight
first.
for it. We're going to arm wrestle at the end of the...
Dude,
Why does everybody want to arm wrestle me? I don't understand.
I don't know, but how are you guys feeling about the games? I didn't get to see your guys' predictions on this.
Well, I'm gonna have to say that I predicted for Blacklist, but I mean, I feel like it's split. There's a lot of people that are pretty, I guess, rooting for RRQ Akira, especially after the group stages. But I mean, we are going to be taking a look here at the lineups, of course. And I think we're going to be taking a look first at, let's see if it's Blacklist International. But still, okay, it's going to be RRQ Akira here. It's Sagan, Takashi, Gusta Lagusta, King, and Luis here.
Okay, and these are going to be the main 5 coming up next, going against the favorites, defending champions Blacklist, the main 5 as well, Haji, Edward, Oheb Wise, as well as Oh My Venus, the queen herself.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a very intense match, but 2 of the matchups I think we're all excited for is the Edward versus Takashi. I just can't wait to see how this thing pans out. We're not going to be taking a look at Blacklist inside of their planning room. It looks like they're saying a little prayer here.
Wow, I love that table, by the way. I didn't know that they had the, the Land of Dawn map there in the table, but that's pretty cool to see. And, like you mentioned, the matchup in the XP lane specifically, how is that going to play out for both of these teams? Because we saw some amazing things from Takashi. There he is right there on the screen right now. And as they get prepared here, we just saw them, I mean, Takashi alone, whether it was that Benedetta, whether it was the Terizla pick, who is going to contest those heroes for them? Who is going to contest those lanes? Because we know how important XP lane is for both of these teams.
But on the other side, we're going to see Blacklist International, the first ever defending champions here as they're walking onto the stage, led by Wise here. V is right behind him. And here we go.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely wondering if there was going to be some agents in the crowd, and right now we can hear some of the fans cheering on Blacklist. Even though they're in a foreign country right now, the fans still support them, and I am definitely hyped for this match. And it's all smiles from the players right now. They're also very, very ready. After this, though, the question is, can they defeat RRQ Akira, or really, can RRQ Akira defeat them?
Well, let's welcome them to the stage as they get lined up here, the defending champions, Blacklist International from the Philippines.
They won MPLPH Season 7, Season 8, Season 10. They took M3, SEA Games as well, and this is looking like the next crown for them to finally dominate over.
And, I mean, that's the big question, but RRQ Akira now, the Western Warriors coming from South America. Very excited to see how they're going to be able to pull this off. And if there's a team that can possibly do it, I think they could be one of the true dark horses in this event. They had a great group stage, and I think they're going to do even better in this knockout bracket.
I like that you pointed that out, right? Because a lot of people did feel like RRQ Akira was the dark horse, right, so far for the M Series here. And they performed day after day. Now, this is a huge test ahead of them, but still, depending on what happens here, whatever the outcome is, of course, they'll still have that extra life, both of these teams. I'm not saying, Blacklist International is going to have an easy day here, because what we've seen from RRQ Akira so far, so good. And can they bring it here in this matchup? That's the big question.
Please welcome RRQ Akira all the way from Brazil onto the stage as they look to get the crown. They're trying to take it away from Blacklist International.
It's definitely not going to be an easy crown to take, but one thing I can say is they don't look too nervous. I mean, there was a little bit of a stutter step there, but even in their room
they want to play.
To now, yeah, they're ready to play. And, there's a point to make here, right? M3, Blacklist had some trouble against the Dark Horses. Will they be able to fix that mistake and this time defeat the possible Dark Horses? Last time they got knocked down to the lower bracket in the first round. This time, do they want to try to have a clean run in the upper bracket?
That's the thing. It's a little bit of a revenge story, right? When we're talking about both of these teams, because as we all know here, Luis, Takashi, and King, they were a part of Keed's Star during M3, who were sent home by Blacklist. So the question is now, they're coming back on stage. They have a whole plethora of strategies to go for here coming into the stage. Will they be able to get back what was lost from them? Because remember, both of these teams are the 2 favorites that will collide on the world stage once again.
Well, again, I think you have to point out two specific roles, right? Which we saw earlier. That's the XP lane. Edward and Takashi, but also the Roams, right? Oh My Venus and Luis. That is going to be a matchup here that is really important, how those lanes play out for their teams here. And also, I mean, we're going to take a look at the pretty much hero trends for both of these teams in just a second and how this all paints out here, Trex.
Well, I think first we're going to be taking a look at the head-to-head, and this is the head-to-head that I have really wanted to see, Takashi versus Edward. And look at the stats. Takashi has had a very clean group stage thus far in Lord control rate, average kills, game win rate. I mean, all across the board except for turtle control. He is actually a little bit ahead of Edward right now.
That's interesting, right? Because that's when we see the two different play styles, right? When you go for the turtle, you will have a better control rate, which means that you have a better control in that early game. Whereas Lord control rate really represents how you do after that 8th, 9th minute of the game. So it all comes back to what are these two teams planning on bringing to the Land of Dawn? What kind of composition are they going for? And how will they be able to implement and have a better impact in the game? Because like we keep mentioning, RRQ Akira, they're super aggressive. But going against a team like Blacklist, who are so calculated, so cold, it might be that they kind of fall short going against something so aggressive.
That's a great point, Attorney, because something like that, I mean, part of the group stage was all this order and chaos narrative, right? And that is something with RRQ Akira. Even as we take a look at their most picked and banned heroes, they like to play aggressive, they like to initiate, but the downside of that is if you overstep, Blacklist International, the experience they have, the veterancy there, they know how to punish, and that is hard to work back towards here. So, I mean, even taking a look at the picks, we see they like to go for that Joy, which is usually placed in the jungle. Claude and Xavier has been popping up a lot. Terizla, though, like I said, we've seen amazing things from Takashi on the Terizla.
Most definitely. I think I'm wondering, really, is RRQ going to focus into that EXP? Is that something that they're going to try to fight for in these drafts? Now, taking a look at Blacklist, commonly picks bans in most bans by opponent. Something they are very favorable on in that gold lane, giving over to Oheb, is that carry. And it's just been such a strong pick. Not only that, the Kaja and the Benedetta, all very important, but a few similarities there with the Xavier. So I think we could definitely see some battle outs here in the draft on who do we want to trade, who do we want to give, because some of these bans and pick styles are similar from both teams.
You're right, and taking that into consideration, one of the things that we need to consider as well is the fact that RRQ Akira, they like to play with their comfort heroes, whereas Blacklist, they have a lot of heroes to work with. I mean, stats show that Venus has used a different roamer every time Venus has played, and so that gives them a bit of a layer of shock when it comes down to it, and whether or not RRQ Akira can actually target ban Venus, because so far it's not been possible. And the other thing that is interesting talking about Venus as well is Venus had an interview, right, with One Esports, and what Venus said was, the interviewer asked, Venus, why haven't we seen the healer meta coming in from Blacklist?
Estes.
Like Estes, Rafaela, all the heroes that Venus is famous for. And what Venus answered was, we'll only take it out if we deem and if we see and observe that the opponent is worth that meta.
So they're saving it.
They're
saving it for the right moment, the right opponent.
Well, what they're saying is no one in the group stage was worth that.
Not yet,
honestly,
apparently.
that's
Not
the
even
truth of
Falcon?
it. Not even. I mean, they didn't use it, did they? They didn't pull it out. So, or maybe just saving some of those cards, right? It's best of one. Right now, we're getting into a best of 5, and if the cards lay on the table and the future tells that possibly Blacklist is on the back foot, they may have to do it. But hold on a second. Look at the crowd right now. VY is looking good with those blown up faces.
You know, I love that because that's what, to be honest, if you guys haven't seen MPL Philippines, those are all over the place when Blacklist plays, right? You've got the cardboard cutouts, the faces of the team members, and another fun fact, VYs also have like their own little shop where they sell merchandise and these little chibi stickers and everything, which is very popular. I think they sell out quite often here. So I'm not surprised that already this is what we're seeing here in the crowd here. But you guys, again, going back to just what we've seen in the groups up to this point, first series here, that it's going to be a best of 5 between these two teams as we get loaded into the draft. There's a lot on the line here. There's also a lot on the table. And how deep does that hero pool go for a Akira.
Most definitely, but now we are coming in to the first draft in a best of 5. Blacklist will have first pick going up against RRQ Akira. This is going to be a good one, Eterna.
Yep, we're going to see Blacklist here on the blue side and RRQ Akira on the red. And already we see these bans coming through. We have the Franco ban, we have the Eve, the Joy also already taken off the board. But on the other side here, RRQ Akira, they opted with the Wanwan and the Kadita ban. So a lot of respect bans on the board so far, and this also leaves open a lot of heroes like the carry that we usually see, like the glue, but unfortunately the glue has been banned away.
Yeah, honestly, everything seems pretty normal here except for that Franco ban. I don't think we've seen a whole lot of Franco bans so far, but definitely, I mean, maybe it's showing what they want to pick here. Maybe something a little divey. Maybe it's pulling out something different than their normal tankiness and going maybe aggressive with the jungle.
Well, first pickup, it's going to be that carry, what we see often. I mean, teams so far love this carry pick. It's definitely a force to be reckoned with. Whoever gets to play it, and very scary in the gold lane. I mean, we saw some even amazing things yesterday in that Echo matchup. So obviously a high priority hero, but they're going to have to trade it for 2 here for RRQ Akira, and there's a lot on the table, right? That Fredrin we've seen pop up a lot. Still doesn't have the best win rate, but is definitely a priority choice. You still also have, now in the mid lane, Eve is gone, right? You can take the Farsa if you want to.
Valentina?
The
Valentina is still, you want to see the Benedetta locked in right now?
Yeah, right now.
Well, you get the Valentina for now.
The Valentina and the Yuzong has been secured here for RRQ Akira, signaling to Blacklist that, you know, if you want to have a strong black line, no worries. We have the Yuzong to go in straight with the Way of Dragon and disrupt that. So now Blacklist, though, they have the option to work around that. Try go in for dive heroes, not have too much of a strong backline. This can actually counter the gameplay that RQ Akira want to bring onto Blacklist.
And not only that, but with the Valentina as well, you know, it definitely changes the whole draft perspective. I can say that Valentina isn't as threatening as she was, you know, 3, 4, 5 months ago. She's a bit more playable, but hold on a second. There it is. Eterna, Blacklist deems RQ worthy tonight. They deem them worthy because the Estes is in there, and Edward picks up the Benedetta.
I like this too, right? The quote there, in all M series, OHEB is ranked 2nd in total kills with 178. In all M series, Oh My Venus was ranked 2nd in total assists with 380. And we learned earlier who was number 1. I believe that was Finn, right? Finn was number 1. And I mean, with the Estes coming out here, the Benedetta too, this is what we saw in the comparison between the 2 XP laners, right? Edward and Takashi. So it's going to be a showdown. Now, the thing is that interaction, Benedetta, Yuzong, who gets the better value from it throughout the game, that comes down to the players, right? That's what's so exciting about these XP laners.
Depends on the pilot, 100%. It depends on the pilot. But look at this, RQ Akira, they secured their next hero, and that is going to be the Hayabusa for King himself. So coming into the second phase of the drafts, because the Estes has already been picked up, I wouldn't predict, I wouldn't assume that there would be something like a Kufa ban coming in from Blacklist, but RQ Akira, they're trying to limit that EXP lane because of the Benedetta that still can be flexed, right? The Fredrin is going to be taken out, and there are still a lot of options on the board, but Trex, what do you think Blacklist might be banning away? Maybe the Atlas going against the Estes?
I think maybe really banning into the gold lane, possibly. Trying to limit down Gusta Lagusta could be a possibility. We do still have the Benedetta open. They want to try to give OHEB as good as a game as possible here. We know how strong that carry can carry, right? Now, on the other side, it does seem like Akira maybe wants to focus into Wise here, and they want to maybe limit some of those bulkier heroes in the jungle, especially since they already locked in, you know, the Hayabusa, a bit more of a squishy, someone that can possibly be bullied if that's what Blacklist wants to bring. But it does seem like they're going to ban out that Cho, target Louise here, so maybe switch gears, forget the gold lane. We trust OHEB no matter who they pick. We're going to try to limit down Louise, and we do know Louise can make some big plays happen.
I like this because part of me is wondering, right? You notice this second phase of the draft is going much slower. And something that I'm wondering is, yeah, what do you lock in the jungle for Wise, right? Now, it wouldn't be crazy if Benedetta even appeared in the jungle, but so far, if you want want to run with a utility jungler here for Wise, it is possible. And at the same time, you got to keep in mind, you're going to be going against the Hayabusa, right? So does that end up being the assassin matchup? Do they decide to opt for the utility jungle, be a little more tanky, provide yourself the peel, that durability? Because you already know, with Yuzong's across from you, plus the Hayabusa, they're going to be everywhere. They're going to be shooting for the back line, like you mentioned, Eterna. And at the same time, you have to be conscious here of the ultimates that you provide to that Valentina. That's something you always have to keep in mind with this draft. And I feel like that's really why we see this as a slower pace, when sometimes those drafts just happen so quickly. It's really going to be up here to Master Basics, Coach Bonchan, to decide what do we take for these last 2 picks, and also not playing into that Valentina option.
So, Eterna did mention the Atlas earlier, and that is still open for Luis here if they want to lock in the tank first and wait for gold lane. At this point, the side of Blacklist hasn't banded out any gold lane, so in my opinion, I think that might not be a bad pick. But do they want us so that they can save the jungle for the end? It does look like they're going to lock in that Beatrix for Gusta Lagusta here. I like it. I definitely like it.
Alright. Why do you like the Beatrix pick?
You like it because the win rate?
Well, no,
Did you see the win rate?
That is true, but it shreds through some of this tankiness. It can shred through, with all the heal that's going to come from Oh My Venus here, it's going to be able to possibly get through that. And if Wise does pick, a signature tanky role for the jungle, they already have an answer locked in, and they do, in turn, bring in that Barats.
This is a strong front line, right?
Typical Blacklist.
Typical Blacklist. Naisu, maybe you have a better comment about this, right? Because when I look at this, I don't know if RQ Akira have enough damage to penetrate through this, right? Because the Barrett in itself is already so sustainable, coming in with the healing from Estes.
Like, the great thing here is, now, the carry is, I mean, yes, when you look at the lineup, you think Blacklist are national. Maybe you interchange this carry with a different marksman pick, but still, it is them, right? It's their signature here. I think what this is going to actually do for RQ Akira, aside from really limiting these options for Rome, for Luis, is now you have to force yourself to build against all that sustain and, of course, the tankiness. But you guys called this earlier. The Atlas comes out here for the last pick for RQ Akira.
That was all Eterna called that pick.
It's typical, right? When you see an Estes, you know that the opponent is going to clump up as 5. So how can you take them down as a whole? The thing that Blacklist did was take out Lolita, which makes sense, right? Because Luis loves the Lolita. He hasn't picked up the Atlas before, so they're playing into that. But now RQ Akira, they're taking a risk here. They're picking up the Atlas, and every time I see an Atlas pop up on screen, I feel the hype, and I'm so excited to see how exactly they can actually pull this off.
Most definitely now, the coaches have walked off the stage. The crowd is ready. I think everyone around the world right now is ready for this. Now, Naisu, how do you feel about that draft?
I like it, man. And I mean, we're going to be jumping right in here to game number 1 between Blacklist International and RRQ Akira. Who's going to make first blood? It's up to both of these teams for a strong start.
I mean, first up, look at how many purifies that Blacklist has, right? There's got to be 3. We'll see it in just a moment, but this shows that Blacklist, they are going to respect the potential that RQ Akira has with the Atlas last pick coming through. We have purified on Haji, on Oh My Venus, as well as Oheb. So it's not going to be as easy for RQ Akira now, as they are going to have to calculate on all these spells and their timers.
Oh, right now, already focused on the top side is first blood for Haji. Under a minute in.
Yeah, Edward already claiming some dominance in that top side, but honestly, Blacklist did work that into it. We have to watch out for Haji, though, with the rotation of this Farza early on, using that wings by wings. They're going to be trying to make ganks quick. They're going to be trying to make ganks very, very fast, and how that affects RQ Brazil is, since they have King on this Hayabusa, you want to kind of play aggressive early on. If Blacklist can slow them down in that, if they can take an early on lead, it's going to be a very rough game for them.
It's going to be tough. I completely agree with you here. You can already feel the pressure that has been built by Blacklist here even earlier on. And whenever Blacklist wants to go in, since RQ Brazil, they're a little bit more reliant on that level 4. The rotation doesn't seem to be as fast, and therefore they're drawing into the tempo that Blacklist initially wants. And here you go, Haji, once again into the top side.
Yeah, he was up there. Takashi looks like he got a couple shots, and he's going to go ahead and recall for now. But you can see, right, how much focus and pressure is being put up in that XP lane. You want to go ahead and give that advantage to Edward the earliest that you can, which has already been done, despite him having that assist there. And yes, Haji grabbing that first blood. Mystery shot, going to be able to build those burst items that he needs, probably that Clock of Destiny here, and scale. But it looks like RQ setting their eyes on Oheb here on the bottom side. Shadow kill going to come out. Turtle is secured though. Still looking for the kill. The flicker committed. And they grab the kill, but they trade the turtle.
Not a terrible trade, honestly. I'm almost on the brink of believing that if you can get that trade, the gold lane for the turtle, it almost evens out, right? Especially because they need Gusta Lagusta to be ahead right now. And Oheb, you don't want him to just farm for free. I think a big win condition for RQ Brazil here is going to be get onto Oheb. Slow him down as much as possible and make sure that Gusta Lagusta can get these items in. And speaking of items, we had a little bit of a start there. Did start to see a little bit of penetration coming in for Gusta Lagusta.
Yeah, I think Gusta Lagusta is going to focus on building that BOD next. So a really heavy as well as expensive item, but it is going to give that power spike that we usually see Beatrix have. Now on the opposing side, but wait a minute, here King goes in.
Yeah, but you know, again, this is the sustained game here. Blacklist International going to be just fine with that. That's the question, right? How soon or who builds that anti-sustain item on RQ Akira here? They're going to need something, right, to work around that. Because you do have multiple options, right? You can go with Dominance Ice if you want. You've got the Blade as well available to you. I mean, there's tons of things. Yeah, and at the same time, Sustain is going to outpace RQ Akira unless, like you guys mentioned, Gusta Lagusta can get those early items, already running that weapon mastery as well. Luis, side set on the bottom side. There's the Purify though. King gonna come in to the backside, gets the Shadow kill. Oh my Venus, still gonna survive, and that's exactly what we're talking about. The Sustain is the game.
The potential that RQ Brazil actually had initially because of the Atlas annihilated, right? They need to be able to find a way to bait out perhaps the Purify from maybe Sagan, and then you can see that Luis can find a huge moment for once again Luis.
Edward owing in with the angle, able to secure a kill as Louise falls. Using that Electro final blow and also just getting a bunch of extra gold here.
Can we just talk about the fact that Edward is in the bottom lane right now, in the gold lane, all the way from the top side? This is the problem when you give Edward that Benedetta. He's one of the most proactive EXP laners in, I mean, all of MLB, especially with the movable, with the mobility hero like that. He's all over the map early on already.
I mean, look at the pressure he's already putting there. Takashi, though, Black Dragon form going to kill him out. It's King that falls. They're still going to be going, though. Haji now focusing on Luis. He's in trouble. Almost didn't even need to get eaten up by Wise as he falls as well. And now it's Gusta Lagusta on the run here. 4 members of Blacklist International going to get cut off by Agent Zero. Grabbing another kill here, going to the hands of Haji.
One by one, they all fall down to the Blacklist International Ube strategy. Haji, Oheb, as well as Oh My Venus, they're being so active on the board. And it makes sense, right? You can see the Farsa already starting to hit that damage power spike because of the emblem she brought in. As you can see here on your screen, that mystery shop is going to make getting those items way quicker. And right now, it's starting to make a huge problem for RQ Hoshi. They're already standing at a 5,000 gold lead.
You know, one thing I'm a little bit worried about is King's emblem choice, right? He's not going to get a whole lot of 1v1s here, especially dealing against Blacklist, who we know like to pump up. Now, taking a look at these items, Beatrix has locked in that bottle. Wait a second.
You find Edward. Can he escape? It's 4 members. RQ Akira. Edward survives.
They just can't seal the deal right now. It is starting to become a problem. The survivability right now of Blacklist, even without Oh My Venus around.
Haji. Okay, he gets the flicker out. As we were saying, Trek.
Nothing to major there. But at this point, Blacklist is just controlling the map. I always like to refer to them as more of a rubber band team, but when they do get that advantage early on, it is just trouble for the enemy team because they bring some of these late game heroes like Barat. So if they can get a gold lead on you, like 6K right now, it's just so hard to get back.
It's hard, but the one thing that I noticed is because Blacklist, they're rotating as 5 most of the time, maybe 3-1 split, Edward goes in a separate lane, they need to still be aware of those side lanes, right? Because previously we saw that RQ Brazil was able to push that bottom side a little bit, get a little bit of chunk from the tower, and maybe that's how they can work around it.
I do like the fact that Brazil did not try to contest that turtle, right? They know the deficit they're in right now, and I think at this point their only option is to not force fights. Blacklist, I don't think is going to make any mistakes at all, honestly, and as we're now seeing on the screen, Oh My Venus picked Estes 57 times with 46 wins. That is an 86% win rate.
Wise. Takashi, just like that, they're going to go ahead and grab it and the turret here. This is the discipline of Blacklist International. They also have that massive lead, like you guys were mentioning. And yeah, going back to it, that's an 80% win rate on the Estes here.
And it's not something that we're...
Definitely
huge.
very, very
and it's not something that we're concerned about. Like, we're not surprised because that is Venus's power hero. And at the moment, this is looking just like a clean-cut, well-executed game for Blacklist right now, giving no room for RQ Akira to breathe at all. I mean, they're taking all the jungles away, they're taking all the buffs away, and the Hayabusa, he needs this buff. It's so difficult for him to play anything on the board, realizing once again, like we mentioned, the high and dry, and because they're rotating together, we haven't seen the positive outcome from it as now. We're going to take a look at the items here 8 minutes in.
Well, I mean, item-wise, it's looking good for Blacklist International. 8K gold lead, like we mentioned, 8 minutes in. Again, it's only been 8 minutes, right? And it's tough. It's a tough situation to be in if you're RQ Akira here, because are you in a position to actually contest the First Lord game? Probably not. Should you let it go? Now that's up to them. It's better because you don't have to get wiped out. As you see, Wise using the Daytona's welcome, not going to get fatal linked at all.
You know, so much pressure was on Louise in this game from the very start. We called the Alice pick. He did end up picking it, but right now, with 3 Purifies on the board, Wise with the Daytona's welcome, that is pretty much a Purify in itself. I mean, there's just nothing that RQ Brazil can do right now to make the play happen. It is just spelling trouble all over, and I don't really see a way they can come back.
It's brutal at this point, right? I mean, you can see the only thing that they can do is try and utilize the high mobility of the Hayabusa, try split the map, try push those side lanes, try and bait Blacklist from going to the opposite side of the map, but even then it does still feel like Blacklist is already onto this, and so they're responding accordingly with Edward.
I mean, here's the question, right? Most people that have been watching Blacklist International for a while now know that when the Estes is locked in by Oh My Venus, they're going to go to what they're known for, the Ube strat, ultimate bonding experience. Who's usually the hero that counters that? Well, Atlas is a great choice, but when you can't actually utilize that ultimate, the fatal links, because there's also, what, 3 Purifies, make it 4 technically with Wise on the Barretts, it's really hard to work around that when you don't have the damage for even follow-ups if it's a mishap. So, as you can see already, RQ Akira going to lose the mid lane here. Actually, they're holding on to it a little bit, but Oheb decides to take it down anyway, even with Lord taken out. And RQ Akira trying to hold on a little bit longer into this game. It's 10 minutes in. Does Blacklist International go for this bottom side inhibitor? We also have King just clearing up on the top side. The rest of the team defending in the base. You can already see the poke here from Blacklist International. Luis might be looking for an initiation. Gets the fatal links off, but gets punished right away as Luis falls. Takashi to go in though. King to follow. Gusta Lagoose taking the shutdown. The second half to flicker out. Gets taken out with a double from Moab. And this could very well be it for game number 1. As the minions push in the mid side of Blacklist International, looking to end it before the 11-minute mark. Can RQ Akira hold on? And it looks like they do for a little bit longer.
I mean, I don't know how much longer. Blacklist are playing extremely aggressive. They know they don't even need to play super disciplined. They can take what they want right here. Taking another look at these items. Wait a second, Brazil can possibly push out.
That's sustained though. Wise, Daytona's welcome, gonna get eaten up right away. King falls here in the mid lane. Another punch finish. Just RRQ Akira has no entrance. Whether it's in the front, whether they're looking from the side angles, the back with Yuzong, it just does not work right now.
Yeah, it just seems like there is not an answer for them. It might be time to start thinking about game 2. I think the only possibility here, like if I really want to play the devil's advocate, is try to get them to use those purifies with either the Atlas or Takashi on this Yuzong. Try to bait out those purifies, and then whoever baited them, the next big CC needs to come in and get them. But that is asking a lot, especially the way Blacklist are playing this. And once either of them goes in, Oheb is so farmed already. He's the second highest gold. No, he's got the second highest damage on the board as we speak. Once they go in, you're shredding them down.
It's hard. It's difficult. I completely agree with you. I would try and bait with Sagan on the Valentina, perhaps with a big play, but even then, it's not possible. They can't look for kickoffs either, and every time King looks for a split push, you see him being taken off the board and giving Blacklist a bigger lead than they already have. And up until this point here, Luis goes for something here. Let's see what they can do. But there you go, Purify.
Right, that seems to always be the answer. Haji going to get the half health healed up right away. Siding though, going in, not going to be able to get anything as he falls. Haji to grab the kill. Lord here, 1/4 health. We're going to grab it. It's Oheb with the killing spree. King goes in, can't out-red 3-wise. Trying to run away from his life, goes back. Oh no! He goes back and gets taken out. 3 fall for RRQ Akira.
The way they were waiting in the shadows. He tries to go back. He sees them all there. He's like, nope, I'm back. And he's right back at the rest of the team. There was no escape for King there. This could be the end for Blacklist.
It's not looking good whatsoever, as once again Blacklist going to be pushing this mid lane.
Well, they're going in. Luis, one more effort here. Wise going to eat him up. Lord still being worked on. The Crystal half health. They might just lock in. Edward finally goes down though. RRQ Akira still holding on. Feathered Airstrike going to come out too, but they're pushing it in. A couple of hits away. It is Blacklist International taking first blood.
Blacklist International going to be leading the series here with 1-0. And now the ball is in RRQ Akira's court. Will they be able to go back into the game with a level head, seeing as that was quite a one-sided game?
You know, here's the thing about drafting against Blacklist is you've been playing all these games against other teams who are playing in the current meta, and you just don't expect to have to ban out a Baratza, have to ban out an Estes. I know it's Blacklist, but still, those picks can still catch a team off guard, and I think with that, Blacklist was able to secure that game 1, and right now, the fans are going crazy. Blacklist looking ready as ever for game 2.
Very clean game. I mean, across the board, right? And the return of the Queen of Blacklist International, taking game number 1 here, first blood in the series. And what I honestly, when the SS was locked in, I feel like a lot of us kind of knew what that game was going to look like, right? And that's why the question was, how does RRQ Akira prepare for that in game? And you have so much time to build that kind of anti-life steal. It was great that Gusa Lagusa got an early kill, but still, they couldn't utilize the CC they had and even follow up with any of the damage.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, what can you say? When you fall that far behind in gold that early on, there just is no answer. And the battle was definitely legendary, but just to let you know, M4 Battle Night goes live this January 21st. Expect loads of events and rewards up for grabs in-game. First off, complete battle tasks in the game on January 21st to get a skin choice chest. You can choose the skin you like most from the chest. Aside from that, battle bonus awaits you on the same exact day. So play matches, and you'll get Team Star for protection for 3 matches, double star raising points, double protection points, double EXP, and double PP for 5 matches. We are not stopping there. Free access to all heroes, and loads of epic skins will also be available that very day. So save the date, log in to the game on January 21st, enjoy the match, and win tons of rewards. Let's all celebrate the M4 Championship together, including with your friends.
With your friends.
We're friends now, Serena. Now,
So we weren't yesterday?
I mean, I take a little time. I trust you now.
All right. But you know, going to your point, right? You were saying that they couldn't rely on one CC. So in my head, I was like, why not rely on more than one?
Yeah.
Maybe have Atlas and someone else. like the Grok, maybe, you know? So two things that they could rely on. But let's head straight to the analysis. You know what?
You know what?
Take
You
it
know what you
away.
mean.
Blacklist International was just too strong for that game one. Ladies and gentlemen, back in the analyst stands. Thank you, casters, for game one. And boy, oh boy, classic combination for Everax and as well as Tesla. What's going on there?
Well, Gandhi, to start, I think the draft is where we should begin. The way that Blacklist set this up, they saw the swing back after they pick up the carry, which is still obviously one of the biggest bogey people in the metagame.
I'm hearing a lot of strange words today.
Yeah. The answer from RRQ Akira was the Valentina and the Yuzhong. Again, you answer the carry, but that's where they whip out the Estes. That's where they brought out the Benedetta. Signature picks for both Oh My Venus and Edward. And what that resulted in was just textbook Blacklist.
I mean, on that note, let's see the item build as well. I mean, LaFound, game one is just textbook Blacklist. What stands out to you?
Okay, here's the thing. I want to talk about the draft as well, because the way that I analyze the game is I look at the draft and then I look at the gameplay. If the draft is not serviceable, then it's not even worth looking at the gameplay. Because RRQ Akira, the way that they draft is a little bit too honest. They're really showing what they want to do in terms of the first phase of the draft, because they saw the carry and they're like, okay, we got to counter this with the Hayabusa. And here's the thing, look at the draft from Blacklist. Every single hero that they picked right after RRQ Akira finished their first phase of the draft, it really counters everything else, because you got a lot of bursts on the Hayabusa, but going up against an Estes just by itself is already like almost impossible. And having the Atlas, come on, Blacklist can just pick up the S tier spell, which is the Purify. So right now, RRQ Akira, they're kind of like showing their hands a little bit too easy. It's so easy to counter what they want to do.
Yeah, in essence, what RRQ Akira did was pick up permanent answers to temporary problems. There's so many ways you can adjust to a lineup, especially if you're playing your game. But here what they did was, all right, here's the obvious answer. Let's pick that up. And I think Coach Cabral can do much better in game two to adjust to that.
Let's talk about the numbers now. I mean, you're right. I mean, composition-wise, draft-wise, Blacklist has the advantage, and they're all technically in their signature hero as well. But take a look at the damage turret, neutral objectives, all towards the Filipinos. Wow.
Okay, here's the thing. If you look at the damage to the turrets, 855 only for RRQ Akira. This shows that they were losing the lane hard. No one was able to actually touch the turrets, so they weren't able to get the extra gold from shielding, as well as they just couldn't get gold in general. And if we look at the highlights a little bit later, it proves that RRQ Akira, they're beaten by every single lane, because even though Sagan has 67% teamfight participation, I didn't really see too much of it.
Yeah, and the reason why is because, again, Blacklist drafted the lineup wherein Saigon can only really have one ult. He's only really happy to get that feathered airstrike. Anything else he gets is worse than a consolation prize. It feels like, oh, we're going to play around that IMU. I feel like we're going to have a good bad entry. And then Blacklist just capitalizes. And that's the whole story of the whole match so far.
I mean, game one was a stomp. Brazil, RRQ Akira could not have found the answer composition-wise, and that Purify, 3 Purifies was just a little bit too much for Akira to handle. Atlas was irrelevant in that game.
I'd say a little too much is the exact word, because they could afford it too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No, here's the thing, right? Imagine you're a carry, Atlas comes in, you just purify, and carries a tank killer. So Atlas, while moving up in the air, is still sustained to damage. So carry's just like, okay, you come to me, I purify, I dash back, just with one dash with half HP, and then that's it, that's GG. So Atlas isn't really the right counter for a hero like Carry, because Carry kind of wants to be Dohon because she has very low range. So you come to me, I'm going to purify you, and I'm going to deal way more damage than what you can afford to kill me.
Yep, so more on the whole draft dynamic, and I think that's where this all fell apart for RRQ Akira. You can't go to war without being armed for war. It was so odd for me, honestly, to see first half try to answer what Blacklist was doing. And then the second half, here's where we tried to defend that Atlas pick. They played their game. I had a conversation with Luis and Tekash, and they're playing heroes that they're comfortable with, right? Yuzhong on Astro Thunder, the Brazilian Heartbreaker playing something like an Atlas. This is good. These are good heroes.
No, I mean, like, it makes sense. Because as an Atlas, you want to fight against a team that wants to clump up together. When you have the Estes, they will clump up together. But again, Green Fire is just a little bit too much. They have to find a different way to fight against an Estes, to fight against Blacklist International to be up.
I mean, personally, right, without even the Purifies, Bouncing is not a hero that can just instantly burst if you catch two. Whereas, if you pick up Lilia, perhaps with the Gura, you can just insta-risk. But I'm not recommending, I'm just like reading the compositions. But let's talk about MVP here. Who do y'all got? It is gonna be Oh My Venus on the signature Estes.
Of course, once the Queen picks up that signature pick, this is like Kenny Omega doing the Fallen Angel. John Cena with the attitude adjustment. It's Estes on Oh My Venus.
I mean, come on, like 80% win rate. It's not ranked win rate. It's not classic win rate. It's tournament.
Professional play win rate.
World championship.
Did not die.
I think Haji was.
Either way, 1013. Take a look at the build as well. It's the standard but hybrid. Enchanted Talisman for spam skills, Oracle, Dread on Armor, and Purified to just add more defense on that.
Given that Blacklist drafted a lineup that has, again, all of the history, signature, their back-to-back championships were won off of these heroes, the Estes and Oh My Venus was just the icing on the cake. The fact that they got their hands on such a hero that makes sure that the Hayabusa doesn't do its job, that the Valentina is going to have an awkward way. Again, didn't even move much, look.
Honestly, I agree with you. The Estes almost feels like an overkill. Yeah. It really does.
Like the triple Purified.
Yeah, again, okay, so let's look at the heat map for a while. And yes, I guess I gotta feel like Oh My Venus in this game is more proactive, more than just seeing what's happening on the heat map. Because there was a part where the gold lane, Oheb was having just a small amount of trouble. Yeah. Went down there, actually controlling the minions, making sure that minions doesn't enter into turret range, so it doesn't die to turret, so the gold is not wasted. I like this kind of communication between teams. Like, okay, I lost my lane, I need to recall. Oh My Venus, please just hold on to my minions. Don't let me get down and farm.
Which I think was a low point in that early game, because that's what we're seeing in the later part of the 5 minutes after Oheb was ambushed by 3 or 4 members of Anarchy Okira. So that was somewhat of a calibration. That was a reparative rotation by Oh My Venus. But that aside, the Queen was just really there to make sure that the engagements were going to be beneficial, or even just converting into more than just kills. Look, we'll see here in the highlights.
Yeah, I mean, let's see the highlights here from Blacklist. What did Venus do? In particular to Rabbit. I mean, he was everywhere on the map, proactive, covering for teammates, and of course, Edward was just being Edward.
Honestly, I just kind of feel like in this highlight, you just got to see how Arceo Kira, they kind of tried, and look at how it's been denied time and time again, because the Hayabusa as an assassin, you kind of want to do very, very well in the early game. You can't do well going up against the Boras jungle as well as in the Estes moving around. And looking at how Arceo Kira is moving in the map, I kind of feel like going inside the game, you weren't 100% sure what they were supposed to do. Like early stages, okay, we're going to do this, but in the mid, it's like, okay, do we roll, do we farm, what do we have to do?
Exactly, and that's where the draft comes into play, right? When you pick your heroes for the first phase, you have to be ready to make up for what's lacking, and then have a game plan for when you do hit that power spike. It's so difficult to be Arceo Akira here, because I was watching that engagement near that lower half of the map near the river. Gusto Lagusa was dealing close to 0 damage.
I mean, it was just a clean game for Blacklist. Now the question stands, what will Akira do in Game 2? Perhaps you got any insights, because Game 1 was a textbook win, personally for me.
Honestly, I kind of feel like Arceo Kira, they got to get out of the box a little bit, because right now they're being too honest going up against Blacklist International, which kind of likes playing around the draft. It's amazing at these drafts.
Yeah, and it was set up so well. One more bit for Arceo Akira, I'd say, is try to be aggressive. Don't respond to what Blacklist is doing, because
don't respect them.
That's exactly what they want you to do.
Don't respect them.
But just do your thing, all right?
Focus on yourself is going to be the piece of advice from Leo and LaFell and Gani. On that note, casters, we are ready for Game 2. Are you guys ready for Blacklist and as well as Akira? Because I can't wait. Throwing back to you, casters. Eterna, Trex, and Isu. Take it away.
Thank you guys so much. You guys did a wonderful job, and Blacklist is also doing a wonderful job. You know, sometimes I wonder, guys, if the players use the M4 pass because it is available now, and all you have to do is complete an all-active task, and you will reach level 75 at ease. And 4, 3. Log in now. Exclusive rewards like Beatrix, Light Chaser, Beatrix Stellar Brilliance, personally that one's my favorite, and the M4 Beatrix figurine are awaiting you. Don't forget hashtag Mobile Legends Bang Bang, hashtag MLBB M4, and hashtag Dare to Be Great. Now, back to this series, guys, because Blacklist just took a very dominating win, and I'm wondering how RQ Akira is going to take this back.
It's tough, right? Because again, this is something that you expect when you see these signature picks. Signature heroes across the board for Blacklist International, and I feel like draft-wise, the idea was there, but unfortunately the execution from RQ Akira wasn't, right? Because your Atlas at that point is pretty much just, there's no use for it. Every time you tried to set up that ultimate, it was either purified out or you couldn't even catch Wise, really. So I feel like, you know, don't be afraid to take some chances here if you're RQ Akira. I feel like this is something that highlights their playstyle, what we've seen from them. And the reason why at one point they were pretty much undefeated before the group stages, right? I think it was like 33 wins in a row or
34.
34, something crazy like that. So hopefully for game number 2 ahead of us here before we're getting into the draft is RQ Akira can come up with that playstyle that is really a highlight of who these guys are, especially, I mean, we talked so much about Kashi in the XP lane. We saw how much focus was put there. So maybe this is where we see Luis shine, or maybe Gusa Lagusta.
That's the hope, right? But the problem is they're going against a mastermind that is Bongchan, the coach of Blacklist International. And I think RQ Akira, they were doing so well in the group stages, mainly, and one of the reasons being Tekashi taking and getting a comfortable hero. And the problem was in that first phase, the Benedetta was taken away. So it was a respect from Blacklist, from Coach Bongchan, to deny that highlight that RQ Akira could have brought to that game. But hopefully here coming into the draft, maybe they'll swap sides.
Well, we will be coming into the draft, and we will see RQ Akira will have the choice on which side they want to take, first or second pick. I'm kind of excited to see myself, and it does seem they want to stay where they were last game, and the bans are already coming in. Vegeta. Oh, did they swap?
Yeah, they went to the blue side this time. Now, I mean, given that situation, you still have to decide, like, what is the hero worth prioritizing here? Because we know we're going to give up 2 of those quality hero picks for Blacklist International. And, you know, honestly, at this point, maybe just, and some people argue that Benedetta wasn't the thing that won the game here, right? So, do you leave it open? Do you grab it possibly for Takashi maybe this time? Same thing. Do you leave the edge test open because you had such a hard time working around that sustain train from Blacklist International the previous game?
But this is what I mentioned, right? If you want to target ban Venus, how do you do that, right?
It's hard.
Venus's hero pool is insane. You ban out the Estes, you get the Matilda. You ban the Matilda, you get the Estes. But here we see that RQ Akira, they're going to start the respect ban here. So they don't want to take it themselves, even though they have first pick, but they also don't want that to fall into the hands of Blacklist.
Most definitely, there are still a lot of things open on the board. Still the glue, still Taja, still a lot of options to go. Now, I feel like when you're first pick, first ban, I like target bans, right? Because you leave some things open for yourself, but you don't want to leave too much open because we know Blacklist can answer back with 2 of their own. Now, I would argue honestly that yes, the Mastermind did come a bit into the draft last game, but it was also some of the shot calling during game, taking that early pick to make sure Edward could be proactive on the map in the EXP lane. And it just seems like every time RQ tried to make tempo of their own going into the gold lane, trying to make games, they could not succeed. Now, RQ does have first pick.
First pick, this is a very weighted decision, right? Because, like you guys were mentioning here, I mean, even looking at the first phase of bans, they're kind of focused more towards, you know, mid lane and, of course, Edward. But we see RQ Akira locking the glue here, who's, I feel like has been up in the air so far for the M series, right? So that's the thing, you're going to trade over the carry, and I would have actually loved to see RQ Akira possibly pick up that carry, right? We see how valuable it is, and the Eve was open. So Blacklist International taking that.
Oh, but we do have a quote here from Gonja. Interestingly enough, they are still in their prime, I believe. If the 5 of them are still playing, they can break any code. We'll see if that actually happens here because they are leading in the series 1-0 as the main 5. As when we're coming back into the draft here, we see that RRQ Akira have secured the Lolita as well as the Claude. So now they're starting to go for their comfort. I'm wondering if Blacklist might become something like the Rock in order to try and even out the scales going against the Blue.
Well, I mean, they tried to do some big CC potential last game with the Atlas. And I'm wondering, they use this Lolita trying to hope for the same thing to kind of counter the Ube strat. But once again, all you need is a few purifiers, right? We've already seen how well Blacklist can deal with some of that heavy CC. And if Oh My Venus wants to go for something again, like the SDs, I don't see a whole lot dealing with that. But hold on a second.
We know who that is.
We all know who that is.
Here's the Diggy, right?
The Diggy to counter all CCs. So you mentioned the Purify. They're like, we're not going to waste the spells. We're not going to waste it on Purify. We still need something great for the carry as well as the keep. So we're just going to take the Diggy.
We'll take the Purify hero, basically.
The 5-man
walking
Purify.
So, and not to mention just the annoyance of all those bombs, right? I mean, you'd be surprised at how much those can whittle you down, especially because now we've seen Diggy played a couple of different ways with Blacklist International. Also can be rolled with the Impure Rage emblem, where you kind of get some of that mana back and it's just constant bombs everywhere here. And then what that does on basically the battlefield is now you're afraid to enter every bush, right? You're afraid to walk into a bush full of bombs here. So, but still, I do want to point out as well that this Lolita pick is where we saw Luis shine so far in the group stages, right? He's made some massive plays on it. And if he can do that again here, meanwhile, Gusa Lagusa is able to farm up on the Claude and utilize the Blazing Duet the way he needs to. This could set themselves up here. I really want to see how RNQ Akira rounds out this draft as we get through this second phase of the ban.
Okay, so the far side has been taken away by Blacklist here to deny that pick away from Sagan. He does still have a few options here. He could pick up something crazy like the Lunox if they want to go for full dives. That's still definitely a possibility because not only does the Diggy give you anti-CC, it also gives you a little bit of shield, and you could totally use the Lunox to go onto that against the Eve in a lane. It's not too bad as well. But RQ Akira, they do have the next ban. They chose the Lapu Lapu before, the Fredrin is still open, and I would have thought this was a really good pick for Blacklist, the Grok. The Grok to be able to sustain in that lane, balance that lane against the Glue, even though Glue has been a quote-unquote coping hero in this mech.
My thing for right now for RQ Akira is, we know that the CC is no longer going to work, right? So do we kind of just go into something very damaging? Last time, when they really relied heavily on trying to lock up Blacklist, they just weren't able to. So maybe the Farza would have been a good choice, right? Heavy damage, but now they need something else. They need possibly spicy, like or a hair. I mean, of course, we haven't seen those in the mid, but something bursty, right?
Wow!
But
You burst it down so you get it up early on, and then you have
Edward Balboa. I mean, now here's the thing. He has many signature names, right? But I want to go back to your point real quick, Trex. You could go with that bursty options for RQ Akira. It would be great because your question was, how do you deal with that, the time journey from the Diggy pick, the cleanse? You burst it down so you get it out early on, and then you have that advantage. Okay, here we go. Damn it. This is exactly what we were talking about. The Leo Mord is locked in here. That's going to be going in the jungle here. Burst is there, right? Question is he going to be rolling with the killing spree? And then Lilia as well.
Very reliable, does a lot of damage, has really good laning phase as well. I think we talked about this before, that the Lilia is so good because not only is she able to use a black to get out of sticky situations, she's also able to deal out so much burst damage even in the early game before the Eve even gets that power moment, right? So the problem is with the Leo Mord that I usually see is the fact that the Leo Mord really needs to snowball from that early game. Now Blacklist, they are known to be aggressive if it needs to be, and this last pick is going to determine the gameplay that they're going for. So the Fredrin last pick here.
Now, so with that Fredrin and the Diggy, I don't know if they're going to be able to push into the enemy jungle, at least not unless King can get a nice power spike. As you said, maybe snowball a little bit. But I do think that they should be able to lane pretty fast, especially with the Lilia. Maybe finally create a tempo and actually succeed in some of those gold lane ganks, right? With the Lilia, you're able to get under those towers. You have to be hyper-aggressive. And that's what I think RQ Akira wants to bring. What they tried to bring in Game 1, they were not able to succeed, and I think they can bring it into Game 2 now. Blacklist, on the other hand, once again, know that they are so good at just defending, so good at letting you think you have it, and then striking back. Look at the faces of the RQ Akira fans right now, or just the RQ fans. They want to see a win here. They want to see something happen. They are cheering, but can RQ Akira actually succeed in going against the world champions? So, join me as we walk into the land of dawn. Will the Western Warriors from Brazil be able to take a game back against Blacklist, or will they succeed in taking this and making it 2-0?
2-0 is the question. Will Blacklist be able to take it out? But now we're going straight into the land of dawn to see exactly how both of these compositions are going to be implemented and conducted within the game. First and foremost, no Purifies coming in from Blacklist. They already do have that Tiki with the time journey, so they are going for their respective spells. And like you mentioned here, King on the Leomord is on that killing spree, so expect that they are going to try and push the tempo here in the early game.
You know, what I like to see here from Brazil is that they're already kind of being aggressive. Luis, he checked that blue buff immediately, made sure to give his team some vision. He's already being proactive, and we see them already, Lilia, move up into that EXP lane to try to pressure onto Edward. This is what they need to bring, but they also need to be careful with it.
Well, right now, King's got to get an early kill here if he can. Doesn't have the level 4 just yet. Oh My Venus going to be the focus. They get the flicker out for now early on. And still, King just waiting here. But top side, another flicker from Takashi. Blacklist International going to follow it up. It's Wise and Edward. Can't get the kill just yet. Even with a taunt, one punch away, can't get it.
Super close. I mean, right now, both teams are trying to make their own tempo. They're trying to not play into each other's rhythm. So remember, 20 seconds left on the next neutral objective, and I do believe that's when things are going to get a little messy. But on the bottom side here, Busta Lagusta, he's not having too much of a good time.
Definitely not having a great time, and I think it's going to be very important for him if Brazil... Oh, that is just so dirty, and these are the types of things that Blacklist do. It is a game of seconds, and Blacklist knows how to take advantage of every single one.
I mean, that's got to be frustrating, right? And now the first turtle up here. But this is what we expected from Oh My Venus. And this could just actually be a trade objectively, because you see the focus on the bottom side. And right now, RQ Akira can go ahead and secure themselves a turtle.
This is the first turtle right there that they have secured, but wait a second.
So he's going to charge up, can't get away from the real world manipulation. Haji able to grab the kill. Saigon now a little bit late to the party. Able to poke down. Black Shoes committed, but no one goes down for Blacklist.
All right, so they've already secured a neutral objective, but they do get a utility in return. But now we're going to take a look at the items here in the second to the third minute. Nothing too fancy just yet, although we do see that Oheb has already secured that erosion side. So expect the damage starting to come through with the attack speed as well, and of course the adaptive damage with crossbow. Whereas on the other side, Bud, he hasn't been able to get even his first item, so he is a little bit ahead. And it's the impact from the aggression has started to show.
Oh, that's tough, right? King looking for these kills early on is something that he really needs, especially on this Leomord pick. If he's able to get those with the killing spree, the burst damage will be there. But you can see, Blacklist International knows that. They disengage right away. They have the information. King doesn't have the ultimate currently.
And that continues to be the problem. It was the problem in Game 1, and now it's becoming the problem in Game 2. RQ Brazil tries to be aggressive in these early stages, but just cannot succeed, right? So they need to either try to really find these picks or just push a little bit more. Maybe they can get it. I'm wondering if these emblems have anything to do with it.
I mean, it really all depends on what emblems they picked up and how they're going to be able to implement that in the game, right? I mean, Fredrin, you can see with the Demon Slayer, he's trying to be able to get a better clear and a better lead in in that early game because of how they want to prevent that snowball coming in from RRQ Brazil. So right now, we can see that it's not been as successful, so Blacklist plan has been working. But remember that Blacklist, they weren't as dependent on level 4 as RRQ Brazil. The reason they did that level 4 in order to have a huge impact in the game. They haven't really found that moment just yet, but now they're starting to reach that power spike. We'll see if they're going to be able to implement that game properly now as we are entering that 4th minute.
Oh man, I feel so bad for Gusta Lagusta right now. They're just continuing to harass him, having such a tough time. One thing we can say is Takashi doing a little bit well, but it does seem like we're going to have a brawl down in the turtle pit.
Turtle's going to be at half health here. Wise trying to get in position for the retreat. Takashi trying to zone him out with split. King still working on it. Time Journey committed to. Wise goes in, grabs the turtle away, and now it's a full-on fight here in the river. King grabbing a kill on Wise as he falls. Takashi to flick around, but look at the damage from Oheb. Able to pick up a kill for himself. It's a trade again.
Beautiful steal coming in from Blacklist. Their initial lead now circling to a 1,300k lead. And it makes sense, right? I mean, Wise is level 8 compared to King, who is still level 7. So automatically, he does have that favorable trait when it comes down to those steals. Whereas you could see, even though Diggy being the roamer, he's still building damage. So even if RQ Brazil, they want to go for a setup, one of the main weaknesses of that is that they are going to be poked down before RRQ Akira can even get a good blast.
I think the fact that that Venus is building the damage is what's really second possible conceal play. They should be able to take that tower, which is very helpful, right? This is going to give Gusta a little bit of movement around the map, and it's actually the first big win for RQ Brazil at the 5-minute mark of the game. Yes, they are behind in gold, but at least they're still claiming some things on the map now. Gusta, #1 highest in average turret damage and #1 average in hero damage.
Well, again, Black International going to retreat here. Neutral Blast not going to connect. Time's already committed, though. Takashi getting poked a little bit, but this seems to be the trend. All the ultimates thrown at Blacklist International, and they just pop the time journey. They disengage from there.
What's going on, right? I mean, oh man, like Luis with the Neutron Blast, it usually hits, and it usually creates a big moment, but why is it that up until this moment, even if the time journey doesn't get popped off, it doesn't seem we've seen that impact yet?
Definitely. I mean, we definitely haven't seen a huge impact, but I will say that the gold isn't escaping from our team Brazil right now, and there is still some definite opportunities, and because they have some of the damage, and Blacklist isn't like forcing it in like last game. They're not so far ahead, but maybe that can change with this turtle.
Well, there's going to be fighting for it again. Last time to connect, it's King that takes out Wise and grabs the turtle as they find another kill. It's Oh My Venus that falls. The double kill from King. The snowball has started.
Finally, game 2. Brazil is taking a lead here. Well, at least it is middled out. We can't quite say it's a snowball, but with King being 3-0-0, that is big.
Yeah, it's on the right foot, right? That's what we want to see coming in from RQ Brazil. You're right, maybe the snowballing hasn't really not there just yet. I mean, we're already into the 7th minute and the lead is near to 0, but they're going in the right direction. Right now, we're going to see exactly how this pans out as, I don't know, what do you think about Edward on the Paquito? I mean, we haven't seen the Paquito so far, even from the group stages, but he seems to be able to have an impact.
I mean, this is normally around the time that Paquito really pops off, right? He's got that first item, almost second item locked in. The damage should be there, but when you're up against Saigon, who's got this Lilia, right? There's not a whole lot you can do against those black shoes. And taking a look at some of these items, he does have that Bloodlust Axe locked in, and instead of going for like the Hunter Strike or something with a bit more of a punch, he picks up the Dominance Ice instead, and I think that could be why we're not getting too much.
That's crazy, right? Even looking at this, there's only pretty much 2 items here for Haji, and the amount of damage he did to Gusta Lagusta just a little bit ago is pretty scary, and that's something that RQ Akira has to be conscious of, right? They've got to work around this. Yes, they have a very minuscule gold lead in their favor, they're still in a good position to actually fight this first Lord of the game if they can pull it off. They've really got to just give it their all. But if we're looking at the previous skirmishes and fights, the disengages are so strong from Black Snapper. Looks like King wants to go in. They get the Times Journey out. That's going to be a big win for them. Lord coming up in just a couple seconds here. RRQ Akira in a good position. Edward now trying to help out, defend the middle lane, holding on to tier 1, taking quite a bit of damage, has to flicker out. Can't get the kill though, he's going to survive for now. Lord is now up. RRQ Akira actually decided to focus on it. They still hold on to the tier 1 at the top.
Yeah, Edward was forced to retreat at this point, and that means that RRQ Brazil, they're going to have a better setup in the Lord unless they try and hold on and look for a better way to go about this. You see, Moon on blast.
Oh, he goes in with the flicker, finds Wise here. They don't have the follow-up damage. Saigon goes down from Haji. It's a missed call here. RRQ Akira now down 1 member.
Yeah,
Black International not going to focus just yet.
Saigon getting a little bit caught off guard. Yes, they have the lead, but they still need to keep it tight against a team like Blacklist. But still, I mean, it's only a 200 gold lead, but we got to look at the map right now. Brazil holding a huge lead in territory, taking away 4 towers already from Blacklist. But now we do see some action in the Lord pit.
Kashi gonna get all the ultimates. There's the time journey too. He's gonna fall. Lord's still gonna be up though. Luis gonna go in, give him the call to go. King now on the focus here for Edward. Doing a blast to land. It's Gusa that goes down. Into the wheel roll manipulation they go. Another member zoned out here from Haji. He's on the killing spree. The 3-for-2 trade.
And that's not a good trade for RRQ Brazil. I don't know what's going on, but every time they go in for this team fights, it doesn't seem like they're synchronized, right? They're going down 1 by 1, and that's exactly how Blacklist wants you to play. And in return, the early lead that they already had in their grasp has now been shaken back onto Blacklist as the gold is as equal as ever. And right now, it's going to be even a more difficult, even though that Gusa Lagusa has started to reach that power spike, right? We see the golden stab coming through, the attack speed is going to start to show with the DHs as well. It's going to be able to chunk members like Edward as well as Wise, who is prioritizing these sustained items.
I think that's the thing that we were all sleeping on, right? OHEB. And when OHEB gets to just farm for free, it becomes a problem, especially when it's a carry. And in these fights, as long as Blacklist can make them last a little bit, OHEB is going to continue to melt down everybody. Not to mention, he's got that wind of nature, but...
Oh, they're going to go into the mid lane. Takashi, they get the flicker out and the Times Journey from Oh My Venus. He's going to flicker himself. Gusa Lagusa is still waiting around the Lord pit here. They're going to disengage. Look again at the ultimates committed. Blacklist International playing that disciplined game now as they get a position to contest the Lord here. Takashi goes in with the split. He's going to be looking for OHEB. He grabs backside and goes down again. Edward off camp kill here. Human Blast finding Wise. Oh My Venus, a fall. They find another kill here. OHEB going down to King again with a double kill.
Just when it looks like Brazil is pushed back, they do come in for themselves, but wait a second.
They're still going to be going 2-on-2 on the top side. Here comes Takashi as well. King falls. Haji now joining the party, pushing him back with real world manipulation. Takashi still on the hunt, gets the kill. Punishing Wise, looking for another. Does he have enough? It's Edward Balboa. Immortality going to pop the split as well as he escapes. Takashi stays alive.
Takashi, the Astro Thunder, definitely doing a wonderful job right now. Just when the game seems to be out of grasp, Takashi helps pick up these pieces. King did a wonderful job as well, though he did fall there. But I gotta say right now, I'm feeling like this match could go either way. I mean, it is tie in the gold. Brazil does hold a small lead. How you feeling about this, Eterna?
Honestly, King has been doing wonders as well, right? Because he's been able to dish out that initial damage. Even though he has been taken down twice, he is still able to set that momentum for RRQ Brazil to start rolling, right? He opens up, he initiates, and he allows that damage coming in from Gusa Lagusa to be more impactful. Now, both teams are going to start centering around the next single objective, which is this enhanced Lord. Who will have the better setup realizing that RQ Brazil, they have a lot more CC to play with.
You know, I don't
They're gonna call it off. They know they're down. The
we were wondering about a
disadvantage here.
possible answer,
Edward, though,
and I feel like the
doing
glue, though
wave.
they're not going to be able to get it every single time, he's kind of that cause disruption in the back line without relying on CC. So let's see if they can pull something off here.
Well, they're going to battle out here for the Lord as they both poke away. Already getting the black shoes out from Saigon. Conceal play coming out from King. They're going to call it off. They know they're down. The disadvantage here. Edward, though, doing work, cutting the wave, trying his best. And it's just so hard for RQ Akira to decide if they should go for this or not.
Seems like they're scared. And the one thing that I noticed is that Wise is actually a level below King, which was previously reversed. So somehow King starts to go on top, and maybe perhaps Blacklist realizes this, and therefore they don't want to really play onto it because they know that they are going to lose that retry battle. But Edward here in the backside.
I mean, the way Edward does this is what I mean by proactiveness. But hold on.
Oh, they're going to be going again. Here it is. Wise quite low here. Haji looking for a setup. Oh my Venus with the time journey out. Edward in the backside, focusing on King. Can't get it. Has to get out of dodge himself with up here on Takashi. Looking for Wise. Gusta Lagusta with the follow-up, but now he gets caught here. Able to survive as well. And still, no one able to secure this Lord as everybody unleashing here in the river. Edward still waiting patiently. Who wants to go for this? Also, RQ Akira holding on to their tier 1 turret.
I mean, honestly, I got to give that to Edward right there. He's just playing such a great game. Had a bit of a slow start, but now he is definitely coming in. Even though the Retribution is taken out along with Wise from Blacklist, Brazil still plays it safe. They don't want to force this. They know who they're up against here. It is not going to be easy, but still, definitely one of the greatest games I've watched tonight.
Amazing to see. Like initially it felt slow one side in the first game, but coming to the second game, you can see that RQ Brazil, they're really putting up a fight. And once again, they're going to start this Lord up. Gusta Lagusta already doing so much damage right now. Wise isn't in the vicinity, but they're looking to.
Conceal play going to come out here. They already get the time journey. Takashi going to the backside. Lord going to be worked on. Wise goes in, takes the Lord, still survives on top of it. King gets the ball here. Ohead's grabbing to kill himself. It's 2 down for RQ Akira. And man, did that look smooth from Wise.
You know, I gotta say, the walk of the Frederian just matches the play style of Blacklist so well. He walks in, he takes the Lord, and not only that, but they take 2 players with them. Just when it looks like Brazil is taking this game, Blacklist takes it back.
It feels like a caster curse, right? Because I literally said that Wise wasn't around, so RQ Brazil had the better opportunity to get the Lord. And somehow Wise just walked up, got the retry, and just did that for his team. But once again, Blacklist going to go into this mid side.
They're going to be pressing the situation here. They're going to pretty much only be able to get this first turret of the base down. But still, they've got the Lord marching on the top side. RQ Akira is going to have to defend their mind out here to stay in this game.
Yeah, they definitely need to defend it out. I do think they can survive this push. Hopefully I don't caster curse them with that one. But they do have Gusta Lagusta. They have Sagon for the wave clear, but it's not going to be easy.
Assault on the top side, and Hibbert is going to fall here. Blacklist International now going to set their eyes on the bottom. The wave's going to be pushing in here. RQ Akira defending all they can. King using that ultimate as well. Base fully exposed here. Blacklist International gives it a call back. They're going to reset.
6,500 gold lead here in the 17th minute. This has got to be one of the longest games so far. It usually goes in the stage 14-13, but the trend is here coming to the knockout that the games get so much closer, and so the games get so much longer as well. When we take a look at the players, we see that Edward and Ohead are actually the ones to lead it out, even though King got so much gold in the early game, that mid game, where he wait a minute here in the mid side.
Takashi gonna get shredded down by Ohead. Gusta goes in with the blazing duet. No one going down just yet. The flicker comes out. Real world manipulation on top of it. Wise still alive here. King now trying to run for the hills. Can't get away. As Almighty grabs the kill, and it's Takashi. Flicker in from Haji. Can't get the kill either. And RRQ Akira holding on for dear life. Blacklist International now in the base, full force of 5 members. It's only 4 for RRQ Akira. Blacklist International looking for the waves to push in. Still, Luis gonna get taken out. Oh, and to clean up, and there's nothing they can do here. One after another gonna fall. And Blacklist International taking game number 2, match point.
That is very, very sad for Brazil. I do have to say, though, it was a valiant effort. I can't get over the giant BY's heads. Look at them dancing right on the ground. I'm really glad some agents showed up to support. What a match that was, it turned out.
At the end, it was just so clean. I don't really know what to say. I mean, right now, all the pressure is definitely for RRQ Akira. As Blacklist, they just need 1 more point to be able to continue their journey in the upper brackets. I mean, the draft wasn't bad by RRQ Akira, so what else can they pull?
You know, I'm glad that you pointed it out because honestly, that was a good game for them. And at one point, they were, I mean, it was pretty scrappy. You saw how much fighting was going around those objectives, especially that first Lord. No one took the actual first Lord, right? I mean, it was there, it evolved, and then it was finally grabbed. So RRQ Akira, it was a great effort here, but hopefully they can just refine it for the game ahead of them.
And you know, something we had to pull out in the highlight game, killable 3DA machine. Oh, and the moment we got into about the 2 or 3 minute mark, I was very, very worried because he was no kills, no ganks. Once again, once he got farmed up, it was a whole lot of trouble. But outside of trouble, we do have to talk about the M4 pass because right now it is available. So complete all active tasks and you'll reach level 75 at ease and for free. Log in now for exclusive rewards like Beatrix Light Chaser skin and the Beatrix Stellar Brilliance and the M4 Beatrix figurine are waiting for you. So hashtag Mobile Legends Bang Bang, hashtag MLBB M4, and hashtag Dare to be Great now. How about that battle night?
The Battle Night? You're asking me? I'm sure everyone knows at this point, right? I mean, the M4 Battle Night goes live this January 21st, so expect loads of events and rewards up for grabs in-game. So first off, all you need to do is complete battle tasks in the game on January 21st to get a skin choice chest. And then you can choose a skin you like most from the chest. And aside from that, bottle bonus awaits you on the same day. Play matches will get Team Star Protection for 3 matches, double Star Racing points, double Protection points, double EXP, and double BP for 5 matches because Protection points are important. And we are not stopping here.
We're not stopping there. Free access to all heroes and loads of epic skins will also be available that very day. So save the date, log into the game on January 21, enjoy the match, and win tons of rewards. Let's all celebrate the M4 Championship together, including with your friends. And I believe, you know, that wraps up game number 2 here. It's match point ahead of us, right?
Yes, very excited for it, and I can't wait for game 3. I'm honestly wondering what the analysts have going on over there and what they got to say about this wonderful match. So we'll see you guys soon.
Welcome back to the analyst stand. Thank you, Tan Squad and the casters. It is going to be match points for RRQ Akira. Nope, never mind. Blacklist International 2-0. Are they going to follow the trend?
It's difficult to say because RRQ Akira is growing out of their minds. They're doing so much, and they've developed so much from game 1 to game 2. And I think we have to talk about the draft really at the start.
Yeah, and honestly, in terms of the draft, I like the RRQ Akira. Now they're actually moving forward and trying to go for a more unpredictable kind of draft. But again, it looks like even though they're trying for something new, it's still getting countered because the Lina is pretty good at countering the Ubi's try because everyone's clumping up together. But again, the Digi kind of counters that. And the Leomord is a very, as you would say, cheeky pig. But an Eve is actually kind of strong going up against the Leomord because once you're in the real manipulation, you're getting slowed, you're getting a lot of damage.
And that introduces the aspect of boxes, right? The box that RRQ Akira tried to set up in the first half was actually very strong. They picked up the Lolita, put it on Luis, and they were off to the races. But here I'd like to focus more on Black's second half, because they actually put an old hero back into the hands of Agent Zero, that Paquito, which was supposed to hunt down for that Claude, look for Gusta La Gusta, and even fix things up for RRQ Akira so that Black International could get eventually where they need to be.
So draft-wise, it's just, well, similar to Game 1, where honestly, Akira got out-drafted, but let's take a look at the items here. Leo Moore, let's talk about a little bit on that.
Yeah, looking at Leo Moore, he kind of doesn't have a choice, but the start of the game, he focuses on the penetration, tries to get those items, but I kind of feel like in this situation, maybe it's a little bit better if he builds a radiant armor first, because it really doesn't matter how much damage you can output if you die very, very quickly, because countering that, look at Haji. The moment he completes the Ice Queen wand, it makes it more and more difficult for RQ Akira to come in front. But the moment the glowing wand is finished, that's where the real damage drops.
And let's not get started on Oh My Venus Diggy, alright? Just a lethal Diggy mystery shot.
Oh my god.
We rarely see this, because usually the Diggy is a support type hero, but when the auto alarm bombs drop from the Queen's Owl, then you know they mean business. Even in that last moment of the base siege, right? RQ Akira could not even think of putting softies like Saiken or Gusta because they're forced to defend, go back, and then that's where I think Blacklist had a great plan. They understood that, alright, early game, we're going to overload via magic, and then mid to late, it's all about physical with Ohem and Edward. I really like this Paquito pick, despite how great Astro Thunder Tekashi was in the mid to late game. We have to give credit to that glue.
Yeah, I mean, glue was a factor, but I really am curious to see the damage from Oh My Venus, because he was building a violent Biggie, and there you go, the damage is quite far, but Gusta seems to be carry still.
Yeah, Gusta is a carry, but that was actually a very good catch there, because I didn't look at Oh My Venus's item, and I kind of feel like we can really see it once we see the highlights, because every single time during the highlights later, look at Gusta La Gusta, because every single time he goes in front, for some reason, his health just gets deleted so fast. And the fact that we looked at Oh My Venus's KDA just now, only dying twice. And the thing is, as a Diggy right now, like, Diggy changes quite a lot actually, but the way that the passive works is that you can get stacks off your first skill, if you're an alarm bomb. So if you die, then your stacks go down. But if you don't die, it just keeps on building and building and building. And the fact that you have just, okay, a lot of damage items, but the moment the Lightning Crunch Down is built, I kind of feel like that was the real reason why the Claw really couldn't do anything.
That was a Salt Bay moment for Oh My Venus. And if you watch the whole match, the whole series actually, one big rivalry comes to mind, and that's that Romer matchup, Luis versus Oh My Venus. And the fact that the Lolita has to do so much to even put a Numinous Blast on the Blast International because of the time journey, that gives the Queen all the more a victory.
But on that note, let's take a look at the MVP. Who's going to take it? Because it will be Haji, the KDA machine. G307, he was unstoppable.
I kind of feel like the reason why he became the MVP is because he makes it so that there's no way for you to win the team fight, because the moment real manipulation pops, it's like you have no choice. Either you stay and fight and take the damage, or you try to leave, get stunned, and still take damage.
Yeah, even as early as the draft, when I saw the Leo Ward into the Eve, I was all like, there's a chance that maybe King might miss the Phantom Steed, given how lethal the real world manipulation, plus reverse time, plus, you know, Akito roaming into the back line, finding these angles, and Haji took advantage of that. He was both setup and payoff here in this game.
I mean, he pulled hybrid, right? And as well as damage, he has that slow effect, he has that glowing, burning effect, but also it has penetration and as well as movement speed with that moving force. So again, he understands what his role is, and let's see the highlights. Enemies.
Not just that, cooldown. Cooldown is now on good force.
Cooldown is important, and the thing is, I like the way that we're looking at these right now, because the change of the brute force breastplate is something that they already built before for the added sustain. Yeah. But having cooldown now is amazing. Looking at Haji's speed map for the first 5 seconds of the game to the 5 minutes, 5 seconds of the game, the way that rolling around is, of course, you gotta stay mid, grab your minions, but also controlling the riverside. And this is probably like the biggest strength of the E. if you walk up into the river, he will almost 100% outrange you. And the thing is, the range is wide. The real manipulation coming in from Haji, it's difficult to hit the damage coming from him because you gotta be very, very precise in where you place your attacks. And the thing is, Haji's attacks, it doesn't even feel like meteors anymore. It feels like straight up planets. Mars coming down, Venus coming down, the moon, the sun, whatever is there. Pluto.
Yeah,
That's still a planet, right?
it's a planet.
It's a planet.
Still, something to note here, the fact that in the first 5 minutes, there is that one point where Haji actually crosses into the back of the tier 1 to help get the kill on Gusta La Gusta. And something we noted is here in the highlights, Blacklist International has so much respect for Astro Thunder that there's a lot of focus on the XP lane, and I guess that's where Haji saw his opening. He's like, all right, how about I juke out and scare Gusta La Gusta, get a kill on him, and then I guess that was a start for RRQ up here as well.
I mean, again, take a look at his positioning. He's just so safe. He knows when to pop out that real-world manipulation. And again, giving maximum damage, utility, and it's just rinse and repeat for side of Blacklist.
In this game, in this particular highlight, we see Takashi doing really, really well. And King looks like he has the damage, but look at Gusta La Gusta. He has a lot of HP. Look at Luis. He's a tank. And he took that much damage from the alarm bomb. I feel very bad because Gusta La Gusta, like, his HP goes down so fast, like, it really isn't fair for him in this game.
Essentially what happens between the interaction of Haji and Oh My Venus on the Diggy is double jeopardy. He sets up a box, if you stay in it, you're dead. If you move out of it, the auto alarm bombs chase you and you're still dead. So now that makes me wonder, I think we have to start watching the replay before the game starts again. What explains the lead in goals that RRQ Akira had for a good solid 5 minutes? I could have sworn they were going to take it.
That is a very good point, very good question. But in a bit, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to throw to the caster's desk. Indeed, the TAN squad is ready. But any final thoughts before we move on to game 3?
In terms of thoughts, I kind of feel like RRQ Akira, like we talked about before, throw away the hesitation because I kind of feel like the massive lead is them trying their attempt on getting an advantage and it didn't work out. And then after that, they're just like being super cautious about it. I kind of feel like if they allowed Takashi to play that glue as aggressive as he did, like I would say the mid stages of the game, they could have gone like even better. And now they gotta respect the amount of damage that Blacklist International can deal onto Gusta La Gusta. Maybe change a different hero. I'm even thinking of an Harif to let him stay in the team fight way longer.
Something tells me RRQ Akira are growing on the go and they're learning from their losses, and game 3 might actually be a different story. I think game 3 they'll pick up on their strengths here in game 2 and then they're gonna do much better. That's me, because again, it's very rare to get a lead on Blacklist for so long.
Before we throw the casters, let's talk to Mara. Mara, what's going on down there in the audience view?
Hi! Hello. First, let's talk. Blacklist International is one way away from a sweep, and the crowd is going wild here with me. He's one of the most popular cosplayer in the world and co-owner of Blacklist International, Alodia.
Hi everyone.
Dexy, one of the most popular content creators in the Philippines.
Hello.
And we have a super fan. Hi.
Hello. Hello.
First, let's talk to the co-owner of Blacklist International. Now, a lot's expected from your team, and they say in the group stages, it wasn't the most desirable result. Is that because you feel that your players are getting a little bit more nervous? What's happening?
Actually, yes, definitely it is very nerve-wracking because we're here to defend the crown. But honestly, it's okay to make mistakes because from that we learn from them. And Team RRQ Akira is super strong, so Blacklist actually prepared a lot for this.
And it shows with their performance today. First of all, you were here M2? M3.
M3,
and then
yes.
now you're here for M4.
Yeah.
How is the experience here in Indonesia?
Indonesia is amazing. The people are very lovely and very kind to us. And as you can see, everything leveled up, not just the players, but the whole production. So thank you so much for having us, and terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Dexy, I know it's your first MLBB International tournament to watch. How is it? How's the experience so far?
It's a very, very unique experience. I'm really nervous about what's gonna happen or like the match is gonna
turnout. But yeah, I'm very, very, very excited. Upcoming matches. What about back home? How's the audience like back home? Are they I'm giving you messages about asking about how Blacklist is doing? How's the support like?
The Filipinos are very supportive, and I'm a bit sad that we're not that many here. And I hope next time to the Philippines.
So, what's your Pinoy chat message? Keep commenting, show your support. Now, super fan. Wait, yesterday you were wearing a different jersey. You're wearing Echo. Now you're wearing Blacklist.
Oh, that was not me. You saw my twin brother.
That was your twin. What is your twin brother's name?
Yes. His name is Manjeezy.
Manjeezy.
Right now, you can call me Hajin.
Hajizi. All right. Okay, what's your message to Blacklist right now so they could sweep their opponent?
You know what, Blacklist? I know you're only giving 10% of your power.
10%?
Just the 10%. Because us also, us supporters is just 10%.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, even though it's just 10%,
go ahead.
Let's feel the energy in here.
Go ahead.
When I say Blacklist, you say break the code. Blacklist, break the code. Blacklist, break the code. One more time, Blacklist, break the code. All right, now let's talk about game number 3. Casters.
Log in now for exclusive rewards like the Beatrix Light Chaser, Beatrix Stellar Brilliance. All right, we are back for a possible match point. Blacklist leading this best of 5 2-0. And just to let you guys know, if you missed it last time, the M4 pass is available now. Complete all active tasks and you will reach level 75 at ease and for free. So log in now for exclusive rewards like the Beatrix Light Chaser, Beatrix Stellar Brilliance, and M4 Beatrix figurine are waiting for you now. Just don't forget hashtag Mobile Legends Bang Bang, hashtag MLBB M4, and hashtag Dare to Be Great. Now, you know, we've been talking about it all night, but Naisu, tell us one more time about that battle.
The M4 Battle Night goes live this January 21. Expect loads of events and rewards up for grabs in-game. First off, complete battle tasks in-game on January 21st to get a skin of your choice chest. You can choose the skin you like most from the chest. Aside from that, the battle bonus awaits you on the same day. Play matches and you'll get team star protection for 3 matches, double star raising points, double protection points, double EXP, and double BP for 5 matches. That's a whole lot of double. And we're not stopping there because there's also free access to all heroes and loads of epic skins will also be available that very day. So, guys, save the date, log into the game on January 21, enjoy the match, and win tons of rewards. Let's all celebrate the M4 Championship together, including with your friends.
Most definitely with your friends. Now we have a minute and a half, Eterna, until this game starts. It has been a rough and treacherous road for RQ Akira, but they almost took game 2, right? There was a moment there where we felt like maybe they could have won that. So if they want to take game 3, what do they got to do here?
Honestly, I still think that they should still play to their identity, right? We saw glimpses of that in game number 2. They just need to, like Naisu mentioned before, refine it. Because in game number 2, they were so close, even though in the beginning we saw that whenever they took those team fights, it was a little messy. One person went in after the other. They started to go down one by one. But perhaps in this game 3, they've learned from that, right? They need to come back as a unit because you're going against Blacklist, who are known for that ube.
Yeah, and as we said before we went off air, the unkillable KDA machine, Oheb, has secured game 2. And honestly, I feel like secured game 1, right? And it just continues to be an issue. And I do agree. I don't think RQ Akira exactly needs to switch anything up in at least their identity or playstyle. They just need to execute it a bit better. They need to stop making some slight mistakes here and there. Naisu, if there's anything you've got to point out, what do you think?
Well, just so you know, there's a lot of teams out there, right, that when it comes to the draft, you can only ban so many heroes towards certain members of Blacklist International. When they find success against them, and we've even seen this in the likes of Falcon Esports back in the group stage, you try your best. I know it's a daunting task here, but you try your best to set your own pace, and you make Blacklist International try to respond to you. Sometimes they don't. They just play their own game. But there are those chances where that works for the teams going against Blacklist International. Again, we saw a glimpse of that the previous match, right? And now, if you want to, it's a match point. RRQ Akira, they just, going back to it, refine what they did in the previous game, and they make Blacklist International play their tempo.
To add on to that, I do agree with your points there, but one of the other things that I've noticed of how people are able to beat Blacklist International at their own game is to take out their team captain. Target Venus, when Venus is off the table, it seems like everything else starts to fall to pieces. They start crumbling down. So perhaps coming into this game, that is an option for RRQ Akira to make. Take down Venus and you take down that crown.
Most definitely. So I guess that's the question. Can they bully Venus? But with a team like Blacklist, it'll definitely not be easy. We are going to jump now into the third and possibly final draft of RRQ Akira up against Blacklist. The real question is, will RRQ Akira pick the blue side once again? You know, a lot of teams have had favoritism with that side, but it seems like today, Akira has not.
Well, it all starts here, right? Like we've been saying up to this point, it's match point here for Blacklist International. Going to be looking to basically secure the series in a sweep. And I would love to see RRQ Akira take this one, take this game, extend the series, because that's what we want to see, right? Now also, they swap sides here, and Trex, already the first phase is done, and just like that, they're going to secure themselves the Benedetta for Edward.
Yeah, and that, I mean, that is, we saw how well he does on the Benedetta, and it's just something scary. Every time I see Blacklist lock that in for Edward, I'm just thinking, how do you even deal with that? The man is a monster. He's just everywhere. So once again, with him securing that pick, it's not going to be easy for them to bully Venus unless they can do it early on in the game. So RRQ Akira need to find a way to do that. What can they pick possibly to try to secure some early game advantage?
I don't know. I guess pick heroes that have a really quick hero power. I think they had a really good idea with picking up something like the Lilia for that mid lane to try and control that mid rotation. But as you can see here on your screen, RRQ Akira, they secured the Lapu Lapu as well as the Claude for themselves. Now, my question is, the Lapu Lapu and the Benedetta, if they go in the same lane, how is that going to pan out, right? Because the Lapu Lapu does have some form of anti-CC, but so does the Benedetta.
I mean, it's just, technically it's just messy. Like, it looks like your favorite anime out there, right? It's a lot of flashiness and jumping and dashes. So that's pretty much what you're going to see.
Nobody ever gets hurt. Nobody ever gets hurt.
Nobody ever gets hurt. It just looks really cool. And as that transitions into the game, it's pretty much, what do they do for those team fights? Now, one of the great things about Benedetta is the split push pressure, right? But Lapu Lapu, if he can even get an early kill with that Festival of Blood, he gets really beefy. A lot of the times, Lapu Lapu, you see him going 1 versus 2 and 3, but hold on again. Blacklist International taking out the Estes again.
Not only that, but they also have that Valentina in, and I got a feeling this is going to be a jungle Valentina most likely, possibly a mid, but still, that's the flexibility that they're bringing with that pick there, and it keeps RRQ Akira guessing in the second phase of bans. They are going to take their time with this final pick, but we do have a quote from Luis here. Blacklist International is one of the most dangerous teams in M4, but we believe in ourselves and optimistic that we can do well. Hopefully they can do well in this third game, because they were correct about the first part there. Blacklist International is definitely strong in taking them through the ringer.
And we'll see if they can actually pull off a reverse sweep like we saw yesterday in the second match. But now you can see here, oh, okay, the Cho being picked up here from RRQ Akira. And this is quite good, right? Because the Cho can go into the backline, try and punish Estes in that backline. And so that is definitely something that they can go for coming into the second phase, though. RRQ Akira with the first ban.
So, I mean, that's the thing, right? With Valentino locked in here from Blacklist International, which ultimate you want to take? Right now, it's just the way of the dragon for the most part, right? So, RRQ Akira, knowing this, they're going to have to be careful in their last two choices after this second phase is done. But still, going back to the point when we saw Estes pop up in the first game, you've got to be able to work around that sustain. You need to have an answer for that, because what we've seen so far, the trend through this series also with Blacklist International, is if they don't want to fight you, they just disengage, right? And that's something that works so well for these first three heroes that they have here. So RRQ Akira locking in this Cho is a great option to pick your fights. That's literally what you want to do. Now, what we've seen so far up to this point is some great Cho gameplay and some, you know, not so great Cho gameplay where like they'll try to get the combination off, the flicker, the way of the dragon, but then they're out positioned. And once that's gone, once you're taken out of the picture, you know, you're down one member and you lose a lot of that utility.
So I really liked the Barats ban here. I feel like they're thinking a bit ahead. I was expecting a Fredrin ban after this to really make sure that Blacklist can't secure that super beefy lineup here, right? Now, speaking of the not so great picks from a Cho, right? If Oheb can secure something again, like, I mean, of course the carry's gone now, but the Beatrix still up, still plenty of options for him. They're gonna need to worry about him because every time Luis goes in with this Cho, he's gonna get melted down. So he's either gonna need to use that aggressiveness early on to focus down onto Venus and try to make plays happen, because if it goes too long once again, it's gonna be far too late a turn.
I agree with you. And now the last ban coming in from Farsa, from Blacklist, is going to be that Farsa. And now RQ Akira, they have the first pick. It's interesting because I'm also reading the comments of the live chat, right? And a lot of people have actually mentioned that a great way to counter Blacklist is more AoE damage. So perhaps we might see that coming in from RQ Akira. And we kind of get that from the Xavier, right? It's scary because it's very easy to counter because of how immobile Xavier is as a hero. But if the Xavier has a good time in the laning phase, is able to get those core items for that damage, the spammability of the ultimate to be able to, one, deal the burst damage, and to two, open up vision on the map is going to be huge for them.
I like that you pointed it out there, right? Because I know there's a lot of highly ranked people watching the M series here.
Oh yeah, the best.
And
all the pros.
And that's the thing though, right? Yes, AoE is a great thing, but if it's just healed back up and you pretty much used all your AoE, then, you know, then, well, if you have, yeah, you have the Xavier, but also, like, you still need to be able to follow up on that when it's healed back up. And now, something we haven't seen often up to this point is this combination that we saw so much of in previous even MPL regions, the Valentina-Faramis combination.
Not only that, but the Valentina does get rotated there over into the jungle, but RQ Akira was quick. They already knew what they wanted to pick as their jungle. They didn't waste any time. They picked up the Basha. Now, we haven't seen that many great things from the Basha so far, and with this being game point, the question is, will it succeed? Now, RQ Akira has their backs against the wall right now. This is match point for Blacklist. They're going to need to pull a lot of tricks out of a lot of hats right now if they want to succeed in this, and it's definitely not going to be easy. The question on everyone's mind in the stands, in the live chat, is definitely if they can do it. The RQ fans want to help them out here, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to make it. So now, as we go into the land of Dawn, Blacklist trying to secure match point against RQ Akira. RQ Akira trying to defend and maybe take this to a game 4 or 5. Eterna, can they do it?
That's the question. The odds are stacked against them this time. And even looking at the drafts, Blacklist have drafted themselves in a way that they are so sustainable, right? They have the AoE healing coming in from Oh My Venus, as well as, wait a second here, Sagan gonna get caught really low. And this is scary, right? Because we need the Xavier to be able to scale with the Clock of Destiny and the Lightning Truncheon as well. And if that doesn't happen, I'm doubting if RQ Akira have enough damage to penetrate through the healing coming in from Oh My Venus, as well as that extra HP from the Faramis.
Yeah, already Blacklist being very aggressive. And it's almost surprising because you see the Estes and you expect there not to be too much, but they're just so good. They have so much faith in Oh My Venus that they're willing to just push forward and get as much damage in that mid lane as possible. Now, Edward and Takashi also having this faded anime battle, as nicely predicted. Definitely very entertaining, but possible action up in the top side. Naisu, how do you feel about that matchup?
Well, overall, I mean, it's really, I don't expect anyone to go down before that first turtle anyway, but, I mean, we didn't even get a chance to talk about the Baksha pick, right, that much, because King rolling with this option here.
Rolling.
Literally, pun intended. The thing is we haven't seen Baksha too much, but it's still a great utility tank jungler here. But already, you know, Luis doesn't have that Way of the Dragon, but should be able to get out just fine. And that's the thing, right? It's Wise that is going to be playing that Valentina like we saw here. And now you have that option, that dynamic. What ultimates do we take? How do we use it? Turtle coming up here in just a couple seconds. Let's see how this all plays out here.
We'll see exactly how this pans out. Remember, RQ Brazil, they need Sagan to get that level 4, which he hasn't. But Takashi here already.
Oh, they're going to crash down on Wise. They're going to get the Cold Altar out here, but it's the first blood for Takashi. Able to secure himself, the first one. Now Edward's going to be the focus. Has to get back to the turret. And this could be the first turtle going in the hands of RRQ Akira. Oh my Venus there, trying to get some vision available, but look at the first! Takashi comes in, able to grab another.
A very, very nice start for RQ Brazil. I was a little bit worried, but it seems like they have come online at 2 minutes and 40 seconds. If they can hold this together, then maybe they could take this to a possible win. But remember, they started last game strong. Now, with some of these items, how are you feeling about it, Eternal?
Nothing just too fancy just yet. We're not at that point where anyone has built that first item, but you can see that the Bloxia is going to have a huge impact in that early game, right? He's going towards a lot of items that are going to be able to make him more sustainable in his team fights. But talking about team fights, Luis goes in.
Luis able to take down Oh My Venus, and now he's going to be focusing on Haji here. He's trying to get out, had to use that Purify as well. Purifies out of it and lives to fight another day.
So right there with the Basha, we're already starting to see with that Tortoise Poisons, with that ultimate. I love the name of that ultimate, by the way. It's a way to kind of counter the Estes because of that constant DPS damage over time without relying on the CC that they try to do in game 1. So once again, RQ Brazil finding answers elsewhere on the map. Another big difference now with this game and last game is they had a bit of a lead in aggression early on, but they didn't have much of a gold lead. This time, Brazil not only leading in kills and map control, but also holding a decent gold lead in the game.
Another thing about the Bloxia is that he's so mobile, right? He can go on every point of the map really quickly, and that's why we're seeing that they're leading in that rotation. And right now you can see even him, he's trying to penetrate into the jungle of Blacklist, trying to pressure out Wise here, who is kind of falling far behind here. Wise still level 6 as compared to King, who is level 7.
I mean, he's doing a great job, right? King knows the lead that he has, knows the mobility advantage that he has as well, and he's playing around that. That's exactly what RQ Akira needs to do here. This is the refined version, or at least playstyle, that they went with, and that they're executing really well. Couldn't convert into another objective take for them, but you can already see Blacklist International trying to get a position here for this second turtle of the game. And now it's going to be pulled out. Still, there's King. I was waiting for him to roll up here. Finds Haji, forces him back. Takashi quite low. Bravest fighter in. Luis, though, with the Way of the Dragon. Oh My Venus has to pop the heal. Able to survive a little bit longer, but it's going to be the turtle secured for Gusta Lagusta in the mid lane. Still going at it, looking for Haji. Sagan falls, but he gets punished as well. 2 down for Blacklist International.
That is a good trade, though. I mean, 2 for 1, plus the turtle in the hands of Brazil here. I think they were listening to you, Eterna, because they have been focusing hard on Venus. In literally the first few minutes, 2 kills on a Venus. This is going to slow him down so much. And Blacklist, for the first time in 3 games, fallen behind.
But right now we're taking a look at the items here in the 5th minute. We see that Claude already built up his DHS, but Luis, man, oh man, as aggressive as he can be at the moment, and you just saw Oheb secure that BOD. So DHS versus BOD, it seems like Oheb has actually reached that power spike a little bit earlier, since of course Gusta Lagusta is still waiting on that golden staff, which means when they go in for 5v5, Blacklist might have the better upper hand if they play the team fight a little bit better and try shut down Luis from taking out Oh My Venus with the backline.
Yeah, I think this is the first time we've really seen Luis feel comfortable while playing along with Takashi, right? At least in the knockout stage. Both of them just having fun with this. Not only that, another big thing to point out, that gold lane tower is gone. on, and this is exactly what Gusta Lagusta wants. The only downfall, the only worry I have on my mind for Brazil right now is, once again, no kills on Oheb. And I'm pretty sure he's already got that bod locked in, he's got the boots locked in, he's going to start dealing some damage if he gets involved into these fights, which look at him already into the mid lane.
Look at here on the bottom side, Edward using the electrifying blow to get out of there, but you know, Takashi's doing work here for RQ Akira. It's 3K gold lead at this point in the game, at almost the 7-minute mark. Next turtle is going to be up here in just a second, and RQ Akira is in a great position to contest it as they focus on, oh my Venus, Dawning Light gonna miss just barely here by an edge, and now it's Edward going in. There's the Colt Altar to respond. The kick comes out, nobody going down just yet. RQ Akira running. It's Saigon that falls under the turret.
Oh man, with one member down, now Blacklist, they're gonna have the upper hand when it comes down to this neutral objective take. They're gonna get that turtle for free, and they're gonna be able to push the limits a bit more. RQ Brazil, though, they're still leading, but look at how aggressive they start to go in that top side. Gusta Lagusta forced to retreat as of right now, as in the bottom side.
Wow, Takashi and Edward still going out of here on the bottom side, holding on to that turret, half health here. The enemy battle continues. Takashi looking to get in position, just going to focus on the turret. Can't get it though as the last minion goes down there, so still a back and forth. But Blacklist International lessening the gold lead from RQ Akira.
Yeah, it all took was a second, and this is what Blacklist is known for, the rubber band right around that mid-game power spike. Now it seems like the sustainability is coming in check. I mean, you have the Estes, plus you have the Sparamies, and as we saw earlier, Brazil brought out all the guns. They brought out everything they could in that mid-lane skirmish and just didn't put a dent into Blacklist. I'm wondering if it has anything to do with these items.
I mean, to be honest, RQ Brazil, they really need this squad to start popping off, because if we take a look at that gold gap, it's quite evident, right? He is trying to get that cross corrosion side with the Swift crossbow, but I'm wondering if it's gonna pop up fast enough and if the damage is gonna be enough, because once again, I'm still doubting. I mean, I'm still very concerned of how sustainable Blacklist is going to be, especially now that we see that RQ Brazil, they haven't had any chance to pick up an anti-regen item.
I mean, Brazil is still being proactive on the map right now, still being aggressive. They've taken another tower in the gold side, and Blacklist, on the other hand, has only taken one from Brazil. Now, Turtle is going to be, Ward will be up in this very soon. So, if Brazil can possibly secure this next major huge objective, it could help some secure this mid-game, but it's definitely not going to be easy. The gold has led up a little bit in the hands of Brazil. Now, I'm feeling good about it. I'm hoping Brazil can bring us to another game, but it's definitely not going to be easy.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a good position here, and that's why they're going to go ahead and start up the Lord Dance. Wise holding on to that Way of the Dragon here. I don't think anyone's going to commit just yet here, but on the bottom side, it looks like Oheb is going to be the focus, but already, look at that. The damage is there. Gusta Lagusta going to have to go back here. And still, it's a little bit of a dicey situation for RQ Akira. And at this point, they have been putting pressure around the map, opening it up for themselves. But I don't think they're still in a comfortable position to actually fight this Lord just off the bat. They've got to still handle the sustain coming out. Yes, you have the boxer, you have the passive for you, but it's going to be up to Luis here as he goes in with a conceal, looking for the bottom side. Can't get Haji though. They are chunked quite low. Cold Altar is still going to be hold on. It's committed now. Oh my Venus! Getting slammed down. Takashi goes in for another kill here. They're going to back off. They have the numbers advantage. Edward taking out Luis though. Haji still up as well. RQ Akira. Do they press the situation? It's a 1-for-1 trade here. It's going to be dicey. King though trying to decide if they want to go for it.
Gusta Lagusta opens up his ultimate here as Oheb.
Oh!
Nice pickup there from Gusta Lagusta. Able to grab the kill, but is it still? That's the question. Wise is still there. This is not a green light just yet to start the Lord, but Wise getting focused up by Takashi again. 1 versus 40. You're in the bush. Gonna get dragged back a little bit. Takashi can't survive that as Haji grabs the kill. Killing spree Meanwhile, RRQ Akira still working on the Lord here. Dawning Light comes out, Wise quite low, took the bravest fighter. Now Edward trying to get some vision, an angle if he can. Gusa Lagusa though gonna push him back here. Still the fight for the Lord. Edward goes down. Colbolter comes out. It's Wise with the Lord again. How does he do it? But RRQ Akira gonna push them back. Everybody quiet. Oh, Saigon with a huge Mystic Field.
I mean, win or lose here, that was one intense Lord fight. And I like the fact that Brazil didn't force that Lord fight. They did lose out on the Lord, but overall, they're still kind of controlling the map here. They take another tower. Now, quick second, because Oheb's Beatrix has picked up 8 games in M, has been picked 8 games in M3 with an 87.5% win rate. You match that up with the Estes win rate from earlier for Venus, and it is definitely spelling out for trouble, Eterna.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we're seeing the Filipino sniper himself go into action. I mean, need we remind you that he was the MVP of M3 finals, right? And he even was able to pick out a skin for M3. So coming into this game, I'm not really sure if RQ Brazil want to do that same thing that they did. That fight was a little too prolonged, and when it gets prolonged like that, it feels like Blacklist has the upper hand because of the constant healing that is happening by Oh My Venus. Take him out, great, but you have to go in, try burst him down. But Haji, he goes into the front line, deals a little bit of damage, but this is all allowing Blacklist to push that tempo as well as to zone away the members of RQ Brazil.
Well, they're still going to be working on this tier 2 here. They might just be able to get it cleanly as they do. Dawning Light comes out. No one going to go down though, but map advantage is what Blacklist International wants here. Takashi going again. There's the Blessing of the Moon Goddess. They find Oheb, and now it's Oh My Venus on the focus here. Haji going to be in a bad position. Dawning Light comes out. It's another that falls. Luis with a massive Way of the Dragon, finding Wise, and it's Edward in trouble now. RRQ Akira marching down the mid lane, totally taking out Blacklist International.
That is insane, and they want to keep going. Takashi with that dive forward, taking care of these towers, pushing forward. Are we going to see a game for Brazil trying?
Brazil going to push in. Haji holding on for dear life here. They've got the minion waves. It's only a couple seconds, and RRQ Akira is going to do it. They extend the series as they take game number 3.
RQ Akira coming back, rising from the ashes, and proving that the L is not for lose, but it is for learn. So we're gonna see. Well, that's it. I mean, that was a huge show play, right?
Yeah.
He was able to get Wise off the board and take all the members from Blacklist down one by one. And this is what I mentioned, right? If they go in with the burst damage that they have in their kit, they're going to be able to win out in those team fights. They did that perfectly. They did not try and prolong the fight. They didn't play towards the tempo that Blacklist brought onto them. And here it is, 1-2. Still match point, but now RQ Brazil, they have a chance for the reverse sweep.
And taking a look at this winning moment, look at them. They are hyped. They are ready. Takashi takes the challenge versus Agent Zero. RQ Akira takes game 3, and I just love that. You know, when a team is that behind, up against the wall, and they get a win like this, it's definitely one of those hype moments. I was standing here excited for them.
I mean, they got the crowd dance buff right there, as you see, right? But that's the thing. Again, Takashi, massive game here on that Lapu Lapu. I guess we found out who wins this season of the anime battle, right? But still, I gotta say that it was a team effort, obviously, and even with Luis on that Cho pick, this was now a game where, hey, you know what? That's a pretty good game for Cho, right? From what we're seeing here. So I still think that, again, it's match point, like you mentioned, Eterno, right? Blacklist International, 1 game away here. But this is life. This is lifeblood for RQ Akira. All the fans out there, even from, we know how much Brazil is rallying there. And this is a good step because, hey, what did we see yesterday, right? It was a possible reverse sweep, and this is the first step towards that. And hopefully, we see more of that refinement coming out from RQ Akira for game number 4 ahead of us.
I mean, not only that, but we've seen them get stronger and stronger and stronger from game 1 to game 2 to now. I mean, RQ Brazil definitely looks very, very good. Definitely wonder how things are hanging over there on the analysis desk. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and back in the analyst stands, Tekashi Astro Thunder strikes in the third game. So it's going to be a 2-1 series. Let's talk about the drafts here. Leo, LaFell, and Goni back in the analyst stand.
I think it's safe to say that RRQ Akira just, as a baseline, had an awesome draft.
I love it. I absolutely love it. This is the kind of draft that we were looking for. Like, okay, countering the S's, we've tried, okay, them clumping up together. I'm like, I mean, there's this one hero that just like makes it so that 50% of the HP healing is gone.
And that's the Bakshan King.
Yeah.
And not just that, if they want to pop up, if they do get away from the Tortoise Poisons, there's this one hero that's just so easily capable of diving into the back line.
Dude, I just feel like the more I see the matches here in M4 World Championship, I'm falling more and more in love with Lapu Lapu, man, because the glue is great and all, but something about Lapu Lapu that just strikes fear into people from the back lines.
We have to acknowledge Astro Thunder, right? And it's known that I've rapped for Blacklist multiple times, but we have to sing. We have to sing for Tekashi, right? It seems like the left
I mean, in general, the explainers in this current patch are just outstanding. And Tekashi, in particular, in the third game, he is outstanding. He knows what his roles are, and he knows targeting, prioritizing the right targets, timing as well. And in a bit, we are going to enter the item builds, but any final thoughts before we do?
Okay, you talked about him knowing what to do. I still remember the fact that the Benetta he knows when the Benetta's going to dash like, you're going here. I know exactly what to here. I'm going to stun you right now. That was amazing.
That was a trademark Astro Thunder moment. I think in the year that RRQ Akira has dominated their region, they've watched so many games, and they know that it was going to come to this eventually. Again, this is fate, that they can get their vengeance, their comeuppance against Blacklist, and this is a statement game. After losing 2 games straight, they get one, and then they're still here.
I guess let's talk about Baksha pick, all right? I mean, King with the Baksha, 316, building tech as well. Perhaps you got any insight from that, LaFell?
My insight here is looking at King as well as Saigon, they're kind of doing what they were supposed to do when they have the Atlas, when they have the Lolita, because the Lolita as well as the Atlas provides a lot of AoE control, but it doesn't really matter because of the Purify. So having someone like a Xavier that's able to spam it out, especially once the Enchanted Talisman is there, keep spamming all of those lockdowns, making it so that they have enough crowd control. So it's no longer on to Luis and King. He didn't even build the Dominance Eyes. That's just how strong the Baksha is. Later in the stage of the game, he could build it if he wanted to. But because of the passive coming in from Baksha, it's really not needed.
True, and with confidence as well. Let's take a look at the post stats for Brazilian members taking the categories here. Gusta La Gusta. What do you got?
I really think we have to start respecting Gusta La Gusta's Claude, and maybe, speaking for Blacklist here, make him uncomfortable. Take away the Claude from this young man from Brazil. Also, I have to give some credits to Saigon, the way he used this Savior, which I, again, have so many times on record said, wait for that Savior, wait for him to get the items. He didn't wait for the items. They ended the game at 13.
Yeah, and again, I gotta say, I like the way that they're adapting it. It's like, yeah, we don't really need him for the damage. It really is just to make sure that he has the crowd control, he has the lockdown. So I like the way that they're really manipulating their own draft in saying we need crowd control. And Luis is like, I don't have to be the only one doing it, right? I mean, like, Saigon could just pitch in. So I love that. I love the adaptation. And again, we want longer games. We want 5-game series, don't we?
We do, and it was a dominating performance from the Brazilians. 14-5 was the total kills. And my God, I can't wait for Game 4. So ladies and gentlemen, back again. Let's talk about now Blacklist International. They lost the third game. I'm sure they have the mentality to come back again.
Not just the mentality, but also the draft. This was another signature Blacklist draft, right? Every single player was playing a hero that they were well known for, but there may have been a few gaps in their draft that was just exploited by RRQ Akira, Coach Cabral, really, again, learning every game and every draft.
It's a very, very interesting match. So let's take a look at the MVP for Game 3. It is going to be Takashi on that Lapu Lapu spell, 614. Oh, not 619.
The Astro Thunder, man. Again, he clashes over and over again. And the thing is, he doesn't shy away from a fight. I kind of feel like this is the best way to use the Lapu Lapu.
Oh, yeah.
You think it's not a good fight to take? Nah, it's all good because looking at the items as well, the moment he has the Bloodless Axe, he can just go in. And even if he does die, I mean, he did die once in the game, it would take like, what, 4 members of Blacklist to make that happen? Investing so much onto Takashi, giving so much space for everyone else. I mean, come on, this is MVP material.
So let's take a look again, the heat map for Takashi, building that hybrid build. Hunter Strike, Bloodlust for that attack, but also building Oracle and Dominance for extra security. Let's take a look at the rotation for the first 5 minutes by Takashi.
In the first 5 seconds, you see him making his way straight for, again, his lane. He knows that he can win that matchup against the Benedetta, which at worst would be a non-starter, right? You just won't see each other given the amount of dashes you both have as XP laners. But you also see how much pressure he put into cutting. He made sure that if he left his lane, if he was going to help the other members of RRQ Akira, he would have already done his job as the XP laner. And then from there, it was Edward who was responding.
This is the sign of a very good EXP laner when you're not only controlling your own lane, but you're actually influencing the jungle as well as the mid lane. And seriously, look at every really strong EXP laners. They don't just handle their own lane. They make sure that people in mid as well as in the jungle is aware that at any moment, Takashi could just pop up. You know, he's just slamming down with his big sword and really influence like where you can actually move around the map. So looking at this, I really like the high pressure, just like you said, cutting the wave so that he has priority in terms of moving anywhere else. So kind of like limiting the amount of space that Blacklist International really has.
So let's take a look at the highlights here. What did he do in particular? Helping out Turtles, rotation. His timing is impeccable.
Everything. Takashi did everything.
Takashi's everything?
Yeah, if he needs to kill someone, he will. If he needs to, again, cut to the back line, make that engagement for Blacklist International awkward, he will. And if he needs to die, now one time he did, right here, he will, because again, at least it made it awkward for Blacklist to commit for the Lord and then lose out men on the way back. This is just Takashi's game.
I want to see some kind of an edit with Lapu Lapu. It's like, raise your hand in the air if you really don't care. Because every single time he jumps, it's like, it might be a bad idea, but I don't care. I will let God decide I live or die. And that is what I see throughout the game. It could be calculated, but in my own hit cannon, I want it to be like, I'm just trying out. And I'm going to let the hero speak for itself.
Suggestion for this montage. Background music, Travis Scott, Astro Thunder.
There you go. Perfect combination. And overall, a splendid performance by the Brazilians, RRQ Akira, but their job is not done here. Still, match point for the side of Blacklist. Any expectation less?
I would like to see Cabral, Coach Cabral, that is, do so much more. They won the draft, so go from there.
Okay, Tan Squad, let me throw it back to you. Let's see game 4.
Thank you for the wonderful toss. You know, we're not only the Tan Squad, I would like to think we are the most best. Well, most definitely. I'm just sending shots out. But I mean, speaking of Takashi, they were talking about it a little bit, talking about the style. Earlier I was mentioning the Western Riz, and right now Akira is definitely bringing that. And I got a feeling they may just bring it again, but it's definitely not going to be easy. So can they take this to a game 5?
As long as Venus dies, yes. In the game, of course. Why are you laughing?
Why are we starting off so heated here?
Why are you laughing?
I'm trying to think of what I'm going to say now.
It's simple,
What do you
right?
have to say? What do you have to say?
It's all good, man. That's
It's all good?
It's all just going to throw it out there.
Malakas.
No, I'm not going to say that because then we're all going to be the targets here.
He's the unbiased caster.
Can I continue my point
Yes.
so people don't get the wrong idea of what I just
Yes.
said? Okay, thanks. My point being is that because Venus is the main anchor for the team, like we saw in that game, as soon as Venus gets taken out, the other members of the team, they seem to not know exactly what to do. So I feel like coming into this next game, that's one of their main bets to be able to win it once again against Blacklist.
I like the point, right? You take out the shot caller and then you cause chaos. That's pretty much what RRQ Akira has to do here. And like LaFell put it, you know, there was pretty much those moments where Takashi was like, I don't care. I'm going to jump in, cause chaos, and we're going to hopefully profit off of that. And that's kind of what happened for RRQ Akira there. And I still think, you know, it was a great choice just overall, how they drafted, how they executed it this time. Going back to the point, refinement, they refined their strategy. And with Game 4 ahead of them, it is still the match point for Blacklist International. I feel like what we're going to see is different bands coming out, especially, right? Do they also want to go ahead and give away this time the Benedetta to Takashi? How do they want to work out with that? I mean, it's up to them, but also, we just got to take a look here at the hero pick recap.
Yeah, I mean, definitely very interesting, right? We did have Haji on that Fermis, and it did a good amount of actual hero damage there, and I think that could be where Blacklist fell a little bit low. Oheb, not really yes, he is the second most, but it's not as much as he normally outputs, and Lagusta almost, I mean, not, I guess not almost doubling, but a lot more in their gold lane. He kind of had almost a rough start in the past few games, but as I said before, RQ Brazil seeming to kind of catch their thunder here, as one might say.
Which is great, right? Because honestly, looking at the compositions, I was worried. I think I kept reiterating over and over of the fact that I was afraid that RRQ Akira didn't have enough damage to go against such high sustainable heroes. But the fact is, the amount of damage that the Xavier actually had in the game, looking at the stats, that's quite insane. And it was so difficult for Blacklist rather to go into that backline to secure that kill, because he was just free hitting, and at that point he was already able to spam that ultimate, and the Dawning Light deals so much damage, it's bursts, and it's a general thing where everyone can get hit at any point in time.
So what you're saying is, the AoE was there.
The AoE was there.
Right,
the chat was right.
Mystic Field, Dawning Light.
See?
Most definitely.
We love viewers.
Job,
the viewers are so smart.
They always lead me the right way, I'm not gonna lie. Every time I'm streaming or I'm playing a game of Mobile Legends, I just listen to what the chat says, and you know, I think my win-rate's not going to be bad this season, hopefully. But now we are going to be jumping into this draft very, very shortly, and you mentioned something earlier, and I got a feeling that the drafts may change, the bands may change, and that's the thing about Blacklist. They've kind of been keeping it pretty similar these past few games. They haven't switched anything up too crazily, but they have so much more in their pocket, I feel, and this is the worry for RQ Akira, right? They're going to have to be able to deal with a curveball sent their way possibly in Game 4 or Game 5.
You know what's weird is, like, I don't know if Blacklist International is actually just holding on to something, you know, to surprise everybody later on in the tournament, or if they're just sticking to fundamentals here, right? And again, we'll have to see, because in just a couple seconds we're going to be jumping into the draft here for game number 4, and I'd love to see if things change the way we're expecting them to, at least even with the bans here. And it's RRQ Akira that's going to be on the blue side. We've got Blacklist International on the red, and already I like the bans from RRQ Akira, especially with that carry. Take It Out, Kadita as well. Yeah,
so they've swapped once again. I think they're taking turns up until this point, but coming into game number 4 here, we see that carry as well as the Kadita is going to be the priority ban coming in from RQ Akira, as well as the Joy and the Wan once again from Blacklist. Now, the question is, did you feel like there was anything in particular that they should have banned away? Do you think the Benedetta should be taken out?
Taken out away, I don't know, because I think they found their answer. I think it kind of goes back to what you wanted to see in Game 3 Eternity. We wanted to see our Akira kind of play the same game, just play it a bit better. And I think finally they are playing a bit better. One thing that they are banning out here, though, is that Diggy. So even though they won that game, they know it can be a problem. But this can still now give some other choices over to Blacklist here. The glue still open once again, so I'm wondering, does Blacklist want to ban that out? Because Takashi did have a decent glue game earlier. Now we do have a quote coming from Coach Zays. I heard RQ Akira is a strong team, and I heard RQ Akira can win against MPL ID teams in the scrim, and not only one. MPL.
So that means that, you know, they're keeping up with these powerhouse teams. And I mean, we saw it. We saw it in the previous game here. But this is something that even us casters talked about before we got even to the group stages. You know, we were kind of contemplating how much time RQ Akira had to practice, how much time and work they had to do with even RQ Hoshi, right? And honestly, from game to game, there are games where it evidently shows here. And you got to remember, they're playing against these powerhouse teams, and so far, they've actually been doing a pretty good job. Now, first pick is going to be that glue.
You're right, the glue is going to be picked up first. Very prio here in this tournament. And I'd like to add on to your point. I think we, all casters, we have a briefing, we have a group study discussion. And one of the things that we did talk about was the fact that RQ Akira, yes, they had a lot of coaching time with RQ, but also the fact that they were a kind of pseudo blacklist. And it kind of just dawned on me that they're finally going against the team that they've looked so much up to. But going back into the drafting phase here, we see that the Benedetta once again going to be picked up from Blacklist as well as the Farsa. So now they're really switching things up, right? They have the utility coming in from the Farsa, the burst damage as well as the mobility in that middle lane. And in this current meta, that mid lane presence has been so important. And this is something that they can rely on and to take away what RQ Akira brought to them in that previous game.
Yeah, I think it was game one where Haji had the Farsa as well. And there was just some of that early game aggression rotating up. They got the pick onto Takashi in literally like the first minute or two of the game. So if they want to try to play a similar style here, Akira's going to have to watch out for that. But Saigen is going to be locking in that Xavier once again, and Louise on the Cho. So trying to keep it similar to last game and possibly run the same thing back.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? They're going to go with the same situation, at least with these two heroes here for now, and see if it works. And there you go, across the board. That's the Estes locked in again. So I'm wondering if we see a Baksha ban here. Like if they just want to go ahead and take that out because of the way that the passive works. Also, like we were talking about in the previous game, where, you know, the fact that you can just roam around so quickly, you can literally roll around and you have that presence is something to worry about here. So we'll see if they leave it open or not, because honestly, the way that it was played from King the previous game was outstanding.
As well as a free dominance ice.
Yep.
Basically, right? That's what the Boxia had to offer in that game. But I don't think Blacklist agrees with you in the sense that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, they're still picking up the Estes. We didn't see too much of an impact that the Estes had, but that could be primarily because of how shut down this was. Now, this is a risky pick, the Farsa as well as the Estes into a Cho game where we saw Luis just really pop off, and he's so good at that targeting that these two heroes, these two people are going to be the main targets for RQ Akira to take down first. But now, coming into the second phase of the drafts, we can see that the Claude is going to be the choice of ban for Blacklist. They want to eliminate the AoE presence and that damage to go into that backside. Yes, AoE. And from RQ Akira, they want to start limiting Wise's hero. The Barrett's gone.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think the AoE damage is just a little bit too much with not only the Claude, but also the Xavier on the field. So Blacklist showing some respect to some of those picks. Now, I'm wondering what this last ban is going to be from them. They did not go for the Fasha, so that it's still open. They decide to ban out the Ling. I got a feeling we may see the Fair Maze ban, because even though they beat it, it was still a problem, and now they don't have as much AoE damage. So that could be a possible ban from them.
Man, I'm wondering too, like with the last ban here from RQ Akira, what they want to play in the jungle here, because, you know, options for, at least from what we've seen from King, is do they want to lean towards the more bursty, even an assassin jungle that we've seen here? Do we possibly see another Leomord? Or who else is left open? Hayabusa, that's picked a lot here. But honestly, I think you're better off picking something more along the lines of utility. But there you go. Oheb going to be locked in here. Or Beatrix going to be locked in here for
That is actually
I'm so
Oheb.
used to seeing.
No, you're right. That's
yeah,
he
the
is
Filipino
literally
sniper.
the human Beatrix.
Yeah,
right.
locks it in. That's
That was the same issue, remember, at MSC? The Cho, Kufra, and Chakno.
Yes.
But yeah, the Beatrix is going to be picked up for Oheb, and I was wondering, right, seeing as RQ Akira, they're relying heavily on the Xavier in the backline, would it be crazy for Blacklist to pick up a Yuzong in the jungle for Wise? But before we get into that, we're going to see the last two picks to round out the drafts that RQ Akira want to bring to the table. And once again, the Baxia, like you guys actually predicted before, as well as the Irithel. So they're relying on that extra movement speed as well from the Irithel, and they're trying to run them down. Maybe go in for
heavy dive. Yeah, heavy dive composition for sure. And this is kind of what they did last time. He's going to rely heavily on Luis getting some of these picks and on Takashi disrupting that back line. The only problem I'm worried about is Oheb up against Booster Lagusta here. Personally, I am just not the biggest Irithel fan. I like it against the 1-1. Even then, 1-1 can sometimes get the advantage. So I'm a little iffy about it, but we do see as a final lock in there, that is the Akai. I'm guessing it's going to be in the jungle. How do you feel about it, Ice?
I think Akai is probably your best choice here because you needed that utility. You're going against a Baksha again, and so now you're going to see these two junglers pretty much just taking the Demon Slayer emblems and fighting for objectives, right? That's kind of going to be the trend here for this game number 4 ahead of us. But also still, yeah, you have a lot of burst potential. You have the sustain. If Oheb can farm up and just kind of go in vacation mode, Blacklist International will be in a good position. But RRQ Akira, like we saw them do the previous game, they've got similar picks, right? They can still work around it. They can still force Blacklist International to follow their tempo. And still, this is going back. How does Luis start these fights up?
I don't know. We will see, because we are jumping into Game 4 in the Land of Dawn. Once again, this is Blacklist International going up against RQ Akira in a best-of-5 series. Will RQ bring us to a Game 5?
Remember, match point here for Blacklist. If they're gonna get this game, if they can take this game, they're gonna continue their journey. But Luis might not continue his.
Oh, there's the first blood here for Oh My Venus. Luis, you know, just taking too many hits this early on. That's not how you want to start it up. So now King gonna be the focus here. They get the stun. He's in a bad position. You don't want to go down here.
Not like this.
Haji grabbing a kill. And already off to a strong start here for Blacklist International.
That is definitely huge and very troublesome for RQ Brazil. Already 2 members down. Not only Luis, one of your prime roamers, but also your jungler.
2-0 start, looking quite shaky, and Blacklist has been able to get this even before level 4. And this is the one thing that we mentioned about Haji on the Farsa. She's going to have so much damage even without that Feather Airstrike, and the fact that she's able to have that mini stun when she can combo out her skills, it's enough for them to use that type of utility to take these really aggressive roamers from RQ Brazil down.
I mean, not only that too, but, you know, grabbing an early kill like this, always kind of what we see from these mid lane mages running the mystery shop. They get early kills, it gets even more devastating. And when you're talking about someone specifically like Farsa, who the burst damage is already there pretty early on in comparison to Xavier, who needs a little bit more time to build up here, that's going to be pretty devastating here.
Very, very devastating. And on top of that, like you mentioned, the Farsa, there's just so much movement. And once Blacklist is a little bit of a move like this, it's going to be very reminiscent of Game 1. They're going to be hyper aggressive. They don't need to rubber band. They're just going to come in hard and fast.
Well, Haji going to wings by wings. Should be just fine here. Now, position-wise, it looks like they're both still going to fight for the turtle here. King going to be taking quite a bit of damage, and like the final blow comes out. Edward looking for the kill. King, though, able to secure the turtle under the nose of Wise as they still continue on. Donning Light going to come out here, but Wise and Takashi stuck together. Wise falling, Luis with the kill, able to pick one up themselves. Wave the Dragon comes out too. Back and forth they go. Now it's Luis on the run. Still going to be chased down here. Can't bob and weave out of there. Trying to run for the hills. Edward on the hunt. It's Luis, but can't get away. Edward able to grab the kill.
He was so close to escaping, but unfortunately at the last moment, even before King was able to help him out, he had to get taken down. Now Blacklist with the 1,000 gold lead, but Haji in the mid side, he's going to get taken down, and a really good trade for RQ Brazil, as now they're going to center their focus onto the next control on the map.
Taking a look at these items now, we are seeing Oheb with a nice advantage, very close to already getting that Blade of Despair in. Everyone else, pretty typical. The only major thing we have to look at is Edward with a slight gold advantage. Overall, though, in the gold lane, things are at a standstill, so that is one thing that Brazil does have going for them here. The gold lead has not escaped too much, only 600 gold, still 40 seconds until the turtle, so I wouldn't count Brazil out just yet.
Well, as you saw, Destiny now being picked up here by Saigon. He's going to try to catch up here with Haji a little bit, but still the focus on the bottom side. Going to make Gusa Lagusa do some work here, trying to bob and weave, avoiding those airstrikes, and still just going to get poked down a little bit, but look at the patience here. King and Louise waiting around, waiting for an initiation, as well as Wise. He's going to be walking in here in just a second, going to spot out King, and not sure if they want to commit onto it just yet. A lot of focus on these two gold laners by both teams as we find ourselves in a standstill. And even Saigon coming here from the backside for now.
What I do notice is that Blacklist, they need to be careful because they don't exactly have a strong initiator, whereas RQ, they have Louise, but once again, Feather Airstrike going to be popped off just to deal a little bit more damage, to have a little bit more clear, as well as to zone the members of RQ Brazil away, but was it too quick?
Well, they know they don't have the Feathered Airstrike here, going to be working on the turtle. Wise trying to go in. Heavy spin comes out. It's King again, securing the turtle under Wise. And now it's Oh My Venus going to be trapped here. Oheb there to back up Oh My Venus. Not going to commit though. They're still going to be chasing down Takashi. Could be in trouble. Gets out. Flicker from Saigon. Here comes Edward. Electo final blow, but he's going to get kicked by the way of the dragon. They find King, punishing him down. Make it 2. Blacklist International punishing RRQ Akira.
This is definitely very troublesome. Saigon trying to do something there, but Blacklist does not want to give this up just yet. It does seem like finally they're going to back off, but not until they push Brazil all the way back to their base. And at this point, Blacklist is just going to start hunting, taking out some of their jungle and feeding off Brazil's own resources.
I mean, Farsa has been so huge in all of these skirmishes, right? And if we take a look at these sub-emblems, we see that she's going for more penetration, and even without those core items earlier on, she only has the Clock of Destiny, if I'm not mistaken. Without the Winter Truncheon, she's already dealing that much damage. So imagine the Winter Truncheon coming through. She has more damage from, let's say, the Holy Crystal if they want to be crazy about it. That's just so much magic damage that they need to be able to get free. Whereas when we look at RRQ Brazil, with the way they're going for these team fights, Luis is primarily just trying to protect Gusta Lagusta, and therefore he's unable to make those plays into the back line to eliminate these threats like Haji.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't completely count anyone out just yet. With Saigon not having any deaths, he wasn't too far behind Haji in terms of gold. He has also locked in the Clock of Destiny. Once he gets that Winter Truncheon, there may be some plays to happen.
There was the burst right there. They got to respect it, Luis. The bob and weave out of the Feathered Airstrike committed as well. You can already see, though, like some of the damage, especially from Gusa Lagusa, is building up here. Once he gets that Berserker's Fury, if he doesn't have it yet, it will be there. And then again, Electro Flash with that sprint is crucial here on the Irithil pick. Concealed play going to come out. Luis on the hunt, flickers in. Oheb able to dodge it, but King also going to miss. They're going to find Haji. He wings by wings out, and now it's Blacklist International on the hunt here. Still, RRQ Akira going to back off. Edward there, though, in the bush. Wise working on the turtle for now. RRQ Akira, this is going to be very tough to fight. Saigon's still waiting for that dawning light to be available. The Takashi goes in here. Now the turtle's still going to be worked on. Everything being committed. Wise with a heavy spin. Able to secure the turtle. Pushing everybody back. Takashi, though, deep into enemy territory. Can he get away from this one? It's 4 members of Blacklist International, and you can't get away from that, Takashi.
Definitely cannot get away with that. The thunder has been quelled as Blacklist rolls forward on this match. I gotta say right now, it is definitely an intense Game 4. The only thing that Brazil has going for them, and I was about to say it, but now it's not true, was they were even in towers. But at this point, Blacklist is coming in strong. Luis,
Luis, that is a misstep on his part, as that was 3 members. Now King trying to come up with a cutoff here, but still going to be the same situation. There's just too much sustain not enough damage from Saigon just yet.
5,000 gold lead for Blacklist here in the 8th minute. And they're trying to push the tempo even worse. And here you go, Tekashi. He's going to get pinned.
Gets pinned down, heavy spin, able to pick up another kill here. And Blacklist International furthering their lead in this game 4.
It's so difficult, right? Because so far, like I've mentioned before, I do realize that Blacklist, they don't have a hard initiator. So they are relying heavily on Haji for these initiates. And it's working so well. And for the moment and for the most part, RQ Brazil, they haven't been able to even build that magic resist. We do see the cloak coming through for Luis, but it hasn't reached that point. Okay, there you go. The Athena shield finally being built, and he's the only person who can try and negate that much damage coming in from Blacklist. And the fact that he's only built it here in the 8th minute, 9th minute, it's no concern that Blacklist has been able to dominate this much already early on.
Yeah, and I mean, the big problem is the fact that he's just getting to hold on a second.
Okay, Wise though, gonna use the heavy spin. Luis gonna get locked down here. Gonna be a kill going over to Oheb as they find one from RQ Akira. They're still going around though. Wise gotta be careful. They're gonna back off. Feathered Airstrike to follow up. Forcing out everything. And RQ Akira now down one member. Lord in the taking for Blacklist International.
That is definitely bad. And before the downfall of Brazil interrupted me, what I was going to say was the fact that they're just getting defense against Haji is definitely troublesome, because now, as we're into the 10-minute mark, we have Oheb to worry about, who has gotten a lot of items, and now King in trouble.
Yeah, there's no way you can get out of there. King was trying to get the opportunity to go for that retreat still if he could. I mean, that happened, you know, we saw that happen to the Turtles, but by this point, Blacklist International not going to let that happen.
Definitely not going to have to let that happen. But Brazil wants to keep on fighting. They find Edward there.
Oh, Edward, you can't escape that one. Gusa Lagusa able to pick up a kill. Feathered Airstrike coming down. He's going to sprint out of there. Now Wise committing the heavy spin, looking for a cutoff. Finds Gusa Lagusa. One hit away, going to be able to survive. And now it's King going in. Wise could be in trouble here, but the damage from Oheb is too much. Tekashi now going to be out of position, has to flicker out, still chased to the base, and just another hit away. Oheb just showing those guns and now focusing on the tier 2.
Lord already marching down there in the top side as Blacklist, even though they lost a member there, they are going to be able to still put that pressure in the mid as they're looking for more. Inhibitor turrets not taken down just yet, so for the moment, RQ Brazil, they're still staying relevant in the game. Although they are losing at 7,000 gold deficit, it seems like Blacklist have not found the means to be able to really penetrate through.
You know, Tekashi right now is literally hanging on for dear life with his team. I mean, literally hanging on to every member of Blacklist, trying to just buy Brazil some time right now. Every time he goes in that back line, he is surviving a little bit longer. We saw him get caught up one time, but now, hold on.
Oh no!
Coming down, look at the burst damage. Oheb picking up a kill. King going to be out of position a little bit here. He was waiting for the moment that they could find anything. Gusa Lagusa, is he going to be stopped? He's able to survive a little bit longer. Still RQ Akira trying to hold on, but again, Oheb has the damage. 6-0-2 on that iconic hero of his. And they might be pressing the situation even further. Focusing on the top side, going to go ahead and grab this inhibitor turret. King now finally back in the base here. Edward grabbed that bottom. They're holding on for dear life. Feathered Airstrike going to be committed, and it's another one. Oheb able to secure another kill, pushing them back further. Wise cutting off Gusa Lagusa. Edward on the follow-up, but should be able to get away here. Base almost fully explodes. The flicker comes in. Can they still follow up? Gusa Lagusa still on the run. Where can he go? Blacklist International on the hunt here. He's buying time, but at what cost? Still going, can't get the kill. Haji to clean up.
Definitely a valiant effort, though, and at least he pulls Blacklist away from the base, and he does buy time, in fact, but just enough time for the Lord to be back on the map into the hands of Blacklist.
But I gotta say, right, that was genius, because if he didn't pull that, they would have ended that game. But RQ Brazil, with that play from Gusa Lagusa, they're going to be able to prolong and try and recalibrate themselves, recalibrate their mentality of what exactly type of gameplay that they want to go for here, even though Blacklist is going to be able to get this next enhanced award. But looking at the items, things are looking quite bleak, right? I mean, the problem is, Gusta Lagusta, she has her items, right? You already have the crit, you have the attack speed, but the problem is because of that range, because of how big that Barca's ultimate is, he can't get close enough to deal the damage, and it must be so frustrating.
Yeah, definitely very frustrating, especially the fact that Luis can't get in there to help at all, right? Every time he goes in, he's getting melted down, but the question on everybody's mind is, can they defend this push?
Well, they're going to have to deal with it as Lord in the mid lane. Flicker's coming in. Takashi trying to make a play, buy some time and some space. They're still going at Edward in the backside with Electro final blow. Dawning Light to follow up. It's not enough. Oheb does fall, but Gusta Lagusta as well. Both gold laners are down. Still the action ensues as Haji grabs a double. Takashi once again all alone here. Now Edward trying to push in the waves. Takashi's trying to buy time. 3 versus 1 in the jungle. They just can't get this guy off of him. And Edward looking to end the game. Electro final blow comes out. Feathered airstrike. Look at the time. Takashi finally falls. And Blacklist International one step closer to making history as they take the series.
What are the Brazilian kings to the queen herself? Blacklist International with a stellar performance. They have sent RRQ Akira crawling back down to the lower brackets.
Definitely back to the lower bracket. I've liked to said it before, but it doesn't feel like a comeback bracket right now. But it still was a valiant effort by RRQ Akira. But tonight, Blacklist reigns supreme on the stage, putting on a great and stellar performance.
Man, Takashi was doing work on that glue as much as he could, but I mean, little by little, that gold lead just got out of hand. I mean, RRQ Akira held on for as long as they could, but one after another, again, they didn't get to set their tempo. They didn't get to set the pace that they wanted to, and Blacklist International is just a team that really will punish that. So, again, good try here for RRQ Akira, but the defending champions able to prevail.
Don't forget though, it's not over yet, right? For everyone, all of you watching into the audience, at home, on live, don't forget that RRQ Akira, they still have the chance to come back out of this alive. They're going to the lower brackets, which means they have a lot more time to learn. And remember, like we keep mentioning over and over, L is not for lose.
It's for learn, and but the Agent Zero does strike back. Blacklist International advances to the 3-1 scoreline. And as you mentioned, honestly, I'm feeling bad for anyone that has to go against Akira in the bottom bracket. They did a great performance, and I got a feeling they can make their way very far into this M4. But, analysts, how you guys doing?
And welcome back to the analyst stand. It's going to be me, Goni, Leo, Felt. Thank you, casters. Perfect game from the side of Blacklist.
Oh yeah, that's one more win for Blacklist, and that's nice to put one step closer to making history towards that title defense. And it's mission accomplished for Blacks International and agents all around the world.
Yeah, and again, like they were saying, like now they're much more closer because again, this is the defending champions. If they go to the grand finals and they win it all, oh my God, back-to-back world champions? That'd be insane.
Step by step, but a strong performance indeed. 3-1 and a very, very well-coordinated team. Good synergy. I mean, V-Wise was practically unstoppable in that game. Let's talk about the joust here. What do you see?
I'd like to focus more on the bans that Blacklist International employed. They actually picked up on that Claude, on Gusta Lagusta, and again, just that lane in the second phase we're in, just always get rid of it. That's a Blacklist identity. And again, it looks like game 1, 2, and 3, and 4 are super connected. All of them, they took lessons, and it looks like Blacklist learned much quicker.